Alright, ladies and gents, as ever, my name is Shane, that's Shane's Games, and tonight we're going to be playing Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. This won't be our first time playing it, so if you want to see how we got to where we are tonight, or check out some games I've played in the past, be them obscure, unusual, or nostalgic, feel free to check out my YouTube channel. But for tonight, let us get into the game, shall we? And of course, it's for some reason right before. I mean, technically this is... this is where we saved last time. I don't know why it starts us on the auto-save rather than the manual save I made there. Now, Bet Cat and Run, you have been watching too many Mission Impossible movies. No such thing! I love that series. Some of the best modern action movies there is. September 10th, 5:45 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 1. So just to get folks caught up, this is a flashback to Miles Edgeworth's first case as a prosecutor. Suffice it to say, it's going very badly because he hasn't actually gotten to do any prosecuting because there was a murder in the courthouse. The one thing we know about the murder so far is it totally wasn't done by Gumshoe, but it took us a good 6 hours to actually prove that. Now we gotta figure out who did do it, which is still going to be complicated. We were robbed of Ace Attorney Investigations Francesca Von Karma. It kind of would be cool if they still did a spin-off like that. Like, of Francesca, like, assisting Interpol, jetting around the world solving international crime rings. That'd be pretty cool. Sign me up for that. What is this incredibly overpowering sweet scent? It smells like flowers. Uncle Bad, is this it? Isn't that Detective Bad and Kay over there? Looks like she's managed to escape the bailiff. No, that's not quite it. Aw, too bad, but it's so pretty! I think you're still a bit too young to be wearing that. But since you found it, I guess I can let you keep it. Thanks! I'll treasure it always! Those two seem to get along rather well. I'm just gonna call it right now because I've played these games before. She just carried off a piece of evidence that's going to end up being key later. The thing I need is in her pocket right now, and it's gonna be a good 3 hours before I can get out of there. Because Ace Attorney! Oh, here. Got something else for you. Yay! Thank you, Uncle Bad! Earlier, I ate one of these with Gummy. Gummy? Oh, you mean Gumshoe. Gummies! He was trying to be nice to me because I was going to get in trouble. And then he got in trouble because he lied to protect me. Lied and almost went to jail for murder. He's so dumb. Gummy! I know he didn't kill Daddy. Don't cry. Faraday would be sad if you saw you crying. I'm not crying. Okay. Oh, it's the mister from before and the lady too. Don't you think it would be a good idea to go home for the time being? You're not involved in the investigation, so it's for the best if you do. Actually, I'm Uncle Bad's assistant. So, I'm related to the investigation. Is that so, Detective Bad? Yeah, I guess. What? You were just scolding us like kids to not mess up the crime scene. And now you let this child run free? Why? People are free to investigate things outside of the actual crime scene. You also had a few things she wanted to look into. Got a problem with that? Yes! Crime scene integrity! You can't let people be running around taking souvenirs! What the shit? You're the police, you should know that! Casey to welcome in your brain says that guy is Garp. I can see it! He's definitely got a much bigger chin. He's got a much longer face overall, though. 3 hours optimistic time for him, yeah. The bonus check, I can't believe that was as important as it was. The courthouse has their own branded snacks. We actually looked through the vending machine last stream. The most horrifying thing is one of the things in the vending machine is called defendant's milk. And I have a lot of questions, but I don't actually think I want the answers to any of them. I don't have a problem with that, but I am curious as to what Ms. Yu is looking into. Uncle Bad, I'm gonna go look somewhere else now, okay? Alright. Counting on you. Oh, that's right. Hey, mister. Hmm? Yes, what is it? I know Gummy isn't really the bad guy. I mean it. So, please, find the real bad guy, okay? I won't forgive whoever did this. But in the absence of the perfect piece of testimony and evidence, there's no one else who could be the true culprit other than Detective Gumshoe. Hmm? Wandered off while I was pondering. People tend to do that to you, Edgeworth. Excuse me. Strawberry milk for those little baby nerd defense attorneys. But every defense attorney looks like a JRPG boss in this series. This decorative plant's leaves are shinier than the ones in plant lobby number 2. That's probably because it's next to the windows where it's easier to photosynthesize. You may be right. Plus, the curtains are always drawn in lobby number 2. Caretakers of this courthouse don't think enough about the plants, do they? That's because the courthouse is caretakers, not a bunch of botanists. One of the windows in this lobby is open as well. Air conditioner is working just fine in this room. So why do they open it, I wonder? That is a good question. Sorry, young girl, but I'm determined to find the wrong guy. Haven't you seen Ace Attorney 1 through 3? That's literally all I do. That expensive painting is ill-suited to be hanging on the walls of this room. I wonder if a guard detail should be placed on it. Why do you say that? Well, a desperate, low-paid detective might take off with it someday. You never know. Maybe thinking about hiring a guard. But it's obvious she isn't factoring in that guard's salary whatsoever. The rich never do, Edgeworth. The rich never do. What an incredibly strong-scented herbal tea. I fear that more than being relaxing, the scent may make one a bit heady instead. You put in a special request for that. No wonder she's so violent if she's been drinking this stuff the whole time. Neither woman should be allowed to comment on this particular topic, ever. I'm not seeing anything super weird in this room, which is unfortunate because we were kind of hoping to find a smoking gun in here. Defense attorneys look like Phoenix? We really haven't met too many defense attorneys in this series, I don't think so. It's one banana, Michael. How much could it cost? $10? This television is the same model as the one in defendant lobby number 2. Looks like the two rooms are basically the same in terms of layout and supplies. Yes. Two rooms are basically the same, huh? Detective Bad, what exactly was Kay searching for? Nothing concerns you, boy. Oh, and I suppose it has something to do with Kay. Does, because she's Faraday's daughter. Anyway, hurry up and get to the point. I don't have time to waste. It sounds like you'd rather be left alone. I have something I'd like to confirm with you once again. I don't have anything to say to you. Be that as it may, we still have questions that need answers to. Now then, first of all, what is the overpowering smell that is permeating this room? Upon entering the room, I thought I was going to suffocate. It's that ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. I was having a bad time of it myself. I didn't think twice and opened the window. But that smell's still here. Perfume, huh? It's that sweet scent in the air is perfume. Well, it's giving off quite a stench, but it's some cheap no-name brand. She said it's a famous brand from overseas. It's a knockoff. Yes, definitely a knockoff. No disrespect, but she forced one of those bottles on me. Here, little girl, you can have it. I was born for a much more expensive and refined perfume. However, seeing as how you just happen to have a spare, I suppose I'll take it. Miles Edgeworth, you will hold on to this bottle without fail. Why can't she ever be honest about her wants? Isn't that the bottle that Kay was taken out of here? Interesting. So now we have the perfume Ms. Yu wears, which is fantastic. Is that all you wanted to talk about? So, I'm going back to investigate. Actually, I still have a few other things I want to inquire about. I would say many people ship Phoenix and Edgeworth. It's so easy to do, is the thing. Frenzy is the bougiest, holy shit. I smell a clue! So you were in the room the entire recess. Like I said, I made a call to the precinct to get that big lug down here. But other than that, I was waiting for the recess to end in here. At least your story is consistent. Earlier, you stated that you were in the lobby with Ms. Yu. Yeah, I ran into her in the hallway. She said she wanted to talk to me about something, so we came in here. Then what you're saying is that until Detective Gumshoe's arrival, you and Ms. Yu were in two different locations. Yes, I am. Interesting. Speaking of that lawyer, she seems to have a great dislike for you. Let's see. Ms. Yu is the sister of the victim of the KG-8 incident. And as I recall, Detective Bad was the lead detective on the case. I wonder if the reason for her disdain isn't simply because you failed to guard Cece, but because you were the lead detective on the case. You knew? I also know that today's trial involving the Kodopian Embassy staff member is being referred to as the second KG-8 incident. Now then, Detective, I believe it's time you were honest with me, and told me the truth behind your relationship with Ms. Yu and Mr. Faraday, and the KG-8 incident. If you already know that much, I guess it'd be alright to tell you. Alright, yeah, let's see what we got here. KG-16! They should advance it a little bit. Sky, welcome in. How are you doing today, Sky? Hope you're doing well. Also, Rooks, I don't know if I said hello to you. How are you doing today, Rooks? Now then, I'd like to ask you a few questions about the KG-8 incident. It's not exactly a happy story. Other than the people who were directly involved. You two will be the first to hear what I'm about to tell. The honest truth behind the KG-8 incident. Faraday, you and I. As you already know, we three were involved with the KG-8 incident. Faraday and I, we were originally on the trail of a smuggling ring. You mean the smuggling case involving one of the Amano Group secretaries? That trial was just a front. A facade? Yeah, but the case became tainted. All because the witness who was going to testify about the Amano Group's ties to the smuggling ring, CCU, was killed. Then what became of the secretary who was arrested? His name was Colin Deveray. To be honest, the guy didn't know a thing about the smuggling ring. But he confessed to knowing about it anyway. Deveray was probably being intimidated by the big boss man. Just another scapegoat. The boss man in the Amano Group? He can't seriously mean Mr. Ernest Amano. Can't be right. Probably just Detective Bad's personal hypothesis. What is he trying to do, suspecting Mr. Mono being involved with smuggling? I suppose it would have been quite difficult to secure an acquittal after he confessed. But the man who killed CCU, Manny Cochin, was a completely different person. But since he's already been acquitted once of her murder... Mr. Faraday, how could you have let him go? If I remember correctly, I heard that Mr. Faraday had an important piece of evidence stolen from him. That wasn't Faraday's fault. It was mine. I wasn't vigilant enough. Faraday, Cece, I was supposed to protect them both. Ms. Yu did mention that as well. But how Detective Bad was supposed to guard her sister. But even I, who was supposed to protect him, I fell into their trap. What kind of a trap? The holes in this jacket are a testament to that trap. You mean, you were fired upon? You were shot at that many times in one gunfight? No. Only about half of these are from that case. But the reason I continue to wear this jacket is to remind myself of the lessons I learned from the KG-8 incident. I see. I couldn't protect CCU, and the suspect was found not guilty. We'd hit a brick wall, as far as the law was concerned. And that's when she came to the courtroom, the victim's sister. That's when I first met Callisto Yu. Getting dramatic here. Rooks, you like to sneak into chats? You're very good at it. Sky Body is having a rough pain day, but I'll make it do. Always glad to hang out. I hope we can provide some distraction, hopefully some smiles too, and I hope you're feeling better soon. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you. Who's attacked by someone with an apple core? I was thinking old school hole punch. Yeah, he's even got bullet holes in his necktie. How is he still alive with those? That's kind of wild. About when you first met Miss Yu. It was on the day the verdict of the KG-8 incident was handed down, was it not? Yes. Faraday and I, we apologized to her from the bottom of our hearts. It was all we could do, but just saying you're sorry won't bring my sister back, she said. And then she gave me a hard slap across the face. Well, she certainly had a lot of self-control to stop at just a slap. If it was me, not even 100 lashes would have been punishment enough. Suppose not. You said it herself, that she never wanted to see either of us ever again. But after that, you've seen her many times over, correct? Yeah, Faraday and I, even after the KG-8 incident had come to a close, we continued to hunt down the smuggling ring. Got involved in a variety of cases. But it was no use. We cracked so many different cases. But the result was always the same. Couldn't find the real mastermind behind the ring. Is the ring really that big? It was in the pursuit of the ring that we met you once again. It was during another trial related to the smuggling ring. Faraday was the prosecutor, and I, as the lead detective, took to the witness stand. She appeared out of the blue as the defense attorney. Her client was related to the smuggling ring. Or her client was related to the smuggling ring, and she was defending them? Yeah. You was pursuing the ring as best she could as a lawyer. I think she defended Rel this time, for the same reason. Come to think of it, Ms. Yu did say something to the same effect. I have my own agenda. I'm still on the hunt for leads regarding the KG-8 incident, alright? And for that, you have not a single qualm about defending a known killer? Don't put words in my mouth. I said no such thing. The only way I had to get close to Mr. Rel was to be his lawyer. I had no intent of covering for him, ever. So don't you dare suggest I was going to. doesn't matter what her reason is. Helping a criminal is just despicable. People in the Phoenix Wright universe don't have a lot of respect for defense attorneys. Apparently they think you only deserve a defense attorney if you're innocent. Which is not how the system works, at least in our world. This man is physically noir, he's made out of it. You're so naive, little girl. I could have stolen this lollipop from you, that's how naive you are. How dare you insult the daughter of Von Karma? Just like us, you felt that she'd hit the limit of what the law could do. That's all. The law is merely a tool. There is no limit to it, only the skill of the craftsman. You two are still too young. One day, you'll know what I mean. But enough sidetracking. What matters is that we met you again in pursuit of the smuggling ring. That's all. Alright. So what was your relation to Mr. Faraday? You even seem to know Kay fairly well. I met him when he was a rookie prosecutor. Known him ever since. Kay, I've known her since the day she was born. Faraday and I, we cracked quite a few cases together. But you two seem to have made no progress at all in the Yatagarasu case. Did we touch a nerve? I only have one thing to say to you. No one knew more about the Yatagarasu than me and Faraday. That's why I was called upon to testify in today's trial. To prove that Rel was not the real Yatagarasu. Which I would have done if he hadn't turned around and accused Faraday. After the accusation, I was asked to testify, but this time, to prove or disprove the accusation. But I guess I won't be doing that either. I sense that there's more to that statement than meets the eye. Perhaps a bit more digging into the Yatagarasu is what's necessary. Let's see, how many defense attorneys do we even see in the Ace Attorney series who aren't one of the protagonists? Yeah, most of the defense attorneys we see are only on screen for a minute or two. They're not even main characters. It's kind of wild. And also, Commander Keen, welcome in. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Yeah, the Von Karmas are not great at their job. Overall. I know Edgeworth is doing good in this game, but in the Ace Attorney trilogy, he just keeps chasing after innocent folks. You claim to know much about the Yatagarasu. Would you care to share what you know with me? What you two should be looking for right now is proof of murderous intent towards Faraday and Rel. I agree, which is exactly why I'm asking you about the Yatagarasu. What? The KG-8 incident and the second KG-8 incident. Both of these cases are tied to the smuggling ring. And in both of these cases, the witness who was to testify about the ring was murdered. However, there is one point in which they differ, and that is the presence or absence of the great thief Yatagarasu. Mr. Rel claimed to be the Yatagarasu. However, in the middle of the trial, he suddenly declared Mr. Faraday to be the real Yatagarasu. Then, during the recess, they were both killed. Do you find that to be the least bit odd? Miles Edgeworth, stop beating around the bush and just spit it out already. He will never do that, young lady. He will never do that. I'm sorry. I believe that there must be some reason that the two men suspected of being the Yatagarasu were both killed at the same time. Reason, huh? And so, in order to catch Mr. Faraday's and Mr. Rel's cold-blooded killer, I feel that I need to learn as much as I can about the Yatagarasu. And I'll help you solve this case. Then I'll tell you the reason why we've never caught the Yatagarasu. Exactly, Rooks. What was that sudden outburst for? You almost made me whip you by accident. Nerd! Still accidentally whipped me anyway. There are three main reasons why the Yatagarasu will always be one step ahead. First, the Yatagarasu always knows the exact location of the target object. Second, the Yatagarasu always knows exactly how to disarm the security system. Third, the Yatagarasu doesn't leave a single shred of evidence behind, ever. I see. So those are the Yatagarasu's special traits. Sounds like an incredibly elusive thief. Yatagarasu has never been caught on tape, never tries to draw anyone's attention, and would never do something as lowbrow as commit murder. That's how I knew that Rel wasn't the real Yatagarasu right away. But you can't use that sort of logic on its own to prove that he wasn't. Listen, little girl, I'm not done talking yet. What's different about this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Kadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence. Till now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others knew about. In that case, how can you be so sure that it was the Yatagarasu who sent it? That's easy. A special card that only the Yatagarasu uses was attached. That's how I can be so sure. And just what sort of card is that? Here, take a look at this article. Whenever the Yatagarasu wants to publicize something, a white card is sent along with the stolen information. But when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. But it was in the newspaper? Seems pretty easy to fake. We got some crunch. Thank you for letting me know. Let me get caught up on shit. Conclusion, the Yatagarasu is Gumshoe. Objection, Gumshoe is way too dumb to be a master criminal. Let's see what we get. Nobody could be that much of a bubbling fool. It's all but a cover. Not the crunchies. And Emperor has redeemed Invest in a Harvester sequel. Hey, I hear we need some audio crunch in Harvester 2. That'll be a big feature of the thing. Because, you know, we need a lot of development money to make such a huge AAA, game of the year as Harvester 2 is going to be. And I heard there's a lot of games out here like Starfield that are getting exclusivity cash from different GPU manufacturers. So here's what I think we do. What we do is we add in exclusive bugs just to whoever the low bidder is from the GPU manufacturers. Add a little bit of audio distortion randomly. Add a blacklist of programs that if it sees running at the same time, it'll crash after 15 minutes. Make it so that for every 20 minutes you play the game, it downgrades the audio quality one category. So that after about half an hour, it sounds like you're hearing all of the game audio through a walkie-talkie, like a cheap one. One character will only communicate through Crunchy's tag. Yes. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. And we'll offer a coupon to get the competitor's GPU. How much will the coupon be off? Oh, it won't be anything off. It'll just tell you go buy a new GPU. In as rude terms as possible as well. Hey, idiot. Hey, cheapskate. Go upgrade your computer. Gotta have a beeping alarm sound if your character takes even 1 point of damage. Oh, yeah. It actually is going to sound like a Vuvuzela. And just constantly plays. Even if you exit the game. They want to remind you that when you get back into the game, you still need to heal up. So when you exit the game, it's still going to keep playing that Vuvuzela noise constantly. Just as a helpful reminder. Upon exit, it thanks you via crash dialogue. Alright, let's see how the audio sounds now. Hopefully everything is fixed there. Ah, and that's how Detective Bad knew that Mr. Bell was a phony. Thank you very much. I have a much better understanding of the Yatagarasu now. Excuse me, Mr. Edgeworth. Yes? His Honor would like to transfer the evidence from today's trial over to you. So if you could please head over to the courtroom, it'd be much appreciated, sir. Understood. I'll be there shortly. Detective Bad, what does the law mean to you? Finding the answer to that question is the only reason I'm still alive. Well, that's dramatic. I became a prosecutor to find the answer to that question myself. And to play a part in ensuring that all criminals everywhere are found guilty. Spoiler alert, it doesn't go well for you, Edgeworth. September 10th, District Court, Courtroom number 3. Oh, it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. Here's that his Honor is still a bit dispirited. For the first time today, I experienced what it's like to stand at the witness stand. I now have a greater appreciation for just how hard it is to give testimony. Well, there's no reason for you to be all depressed about it, Your Honor. As a judge, no one expects you to think about anything other than the verdict. Francesca, there's no need to further depress His Honor. But I'm not trying to, Miles. Your Honor. Eh? Your Honor, I've come to collect the evidence that was to be transferred to me. Your Honor, the evidence. Your Honor! Oh! You! Yes, can I help you? I'd like to collect the evidence now, sir. Your Honor, do you think you can stay focused long enough to at least do your job? Yes, I'm sorry. And I would, except that the defense attorney is yet to arrive. He's busy with the investigation, so let's keep this brief, shall we? Very well. In that case, please confirm that all the pieces of evidence are present. Furthermore, the evidence that was used in the murders of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell are also included, so please go ahead and use them in your investigation into the case. Understood, Your Honor. The pieces of evidence that were used in the murder of these two men. This could be a very good chance for me to find new leads regarding their case. Maybe even something that'll finally lead me to the truth. I've placed all the evidence over at the prosecutor's bench for you. I see. Thank you very much. I will go and confirm that they are all accounted for. Alright, let's see what we got here. Getting some new evidence. The guilty, I said. The Edgeworth murder she wrote crossover. I'd watch it. So this is the evidence related to today's Cadopian embassy trail from Mr. Faraday's bag. You mean the evidence bag that was on the table in lobby number 2, right? Yes. Finally, we can now take a look at the evidence itself and not just the data about them. Let's be sure to thoroughly examine them while we have the time. Agreed. I want to take a look over all the evidence from the embassy murder, too. And why is that? Because I still don't fully understand what today's trial was about. Don't point your crop at me just because you don't know something. And don't you try to order me around just because Papa chose you today. Gee, someone's still sore about not being picked by Mr. Von Karma. It's also real to see the knife up close. So, we have the knife, the gun, envelope. What's this organizer doing here? Oh, that's right. I completely forgot to tell you. About what, Your Honor? I found Mr. Faraday's personal organizer inside that evidence bag of his. Detective Bad requested it be passed along to you. He said it would help the investigation. Detective Bad said that. What a strange stroke of luck. Well, never look a gift horse in the mouth. Might as well flip through that too. But rest until I've inspected every suspicious-looking nook and cranny. Let's see what we got here. It's the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. Who would have thought that such a beautiful piece of art could be used for such a cruel act? It's never crossed your mind that you used your riding crop for the wrong purpose. This gun It was originally used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member. When the crime was reported, the responding police found Mr. Rell still holding it, which led to his immediate arrest. And then, this gun took the original shooter's life. How ironic. Indeed. There doesn't seem to be anything else we can learn from this piece of evidence. Yeah, we already inspected those. Hey, Bro Crow, welcome in. How are you doing today? How's your week going so far? Hope you're doing well. Please, sir, can we have some more evidence? More? You mean knives can be used to kill people? My life has been a lie. Mr. Faraday's organizer. Appears he was in the habit of using it. Looks like you wrote his strategy for getting Mr. Rell convicted down in here. I have collected the evidence I need to prove that Rell was the killer. Between the handgun Rell had on him when he was arrested and the surveillance tape, I should be able to prove that he was the one. It appears that Mr. Faraday honestly believed that Mr. Rell was the killer in this case. The sound of his handgun going off was recorded with superb clarity on the surveillance video. I also have evidence that I can use to prove that Rell is not the real Yatagarasu. And it would also appear that he had proof that Mr. Rell was not the Yatagarasu. No matter how he may try to play it, as long as I have the Yatagarasu's key, I can prove he's a phony. If I present this to him in court, it should clear everything up. He apparently also had a very definitive piece of evidence. It's been a long battle. I hope that this will finally bring it to an end. Yes, I believe that Mr. Faraday was well prepared to discredit any claim Mr. Rell may have made about being the real Yatagarasu. And he had a way to prove that Mr. Rell was guilty, the guilty party in the embassy murder. This organizer has a clue straight from Mr. Faraday. I'll have to take my time and give it a thorough read later. Alright. Look, there's a picture stuck between these pages here. Appears to be key. And a rather ornate one at that. Just look at the design on the handle. Craftsmanship is superb. Could this be the Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentioned in his organizer? Yatagarasu's key? Detective Bad said something earlier. What's different about it this time was that evidence related to the smuggling ring was sent to the police. And the sender was none other than the one who infiltrated the Cadopian embassy, the Yatagarasu. The Yatagarasu sent the evidence? Till now, the Yatagarasu would always publicize any corrupt dealings through the mass media. But not this time. The evidence this time was something only Faraday and I, and a select few others, knew about. Mr. Faraday must have been trying to keep this secret key safe. As the prosecutor on both the Yatagarasu and smuggling ring cases, that's to be expected. Interesting, interesting. I assume the evidence was locked with that key, I presume? Shit is a charisma build? That's very sweet of you. Use perception is a dumb stat. That's also true. I can't even deny. Trapper Keeper. Oh my god. I had a Trapper Keeper back in the day. That's odd. What is it? Mr. Faraday didn't mention anything about a knife in his organizer. It certainly is odd. But the weapon that was used to kill the Cadopian embassy staff member was the gun. But if that's the case, then where did the knife that was used to murder Mr. Faraday come from? Isn't it obvious? It was brought into the courthouse by Mr. Rell. That's the only logical conclusion, right? No, because it's not that easy to smuggle a weapon like that in here. Every person who enters the courthouse doors is checked thoroughly for contraband. Furthermore, the suspect was handcuffed, making it impossible for him to bring a knife as large as this inside. In that case, how do you suppose the knife ended up inside the courthouse? I need to think carefully here. I think we better save. There's nothing related to the knife written anywhere in Mr. Faraday's organizer. However, it is a fact that this knife came from Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. Conversely, there is one item listed in Mr. Faraday's organizer that no one has claimed to see today. In order to solve this mystery, I believe I will need to take another good look at the evidence. Miles Edgeworth, can I take the fact that you have yet to answer me to mean that you don't have an answer for me? Actually, I do know the answer, Francesca. What? Then what is it? One of the pieces of evidence we've been holding has been hiding a secret of its own. And it was through this piece of evidence that the knife was brought into the courtroom.
Take that!
This Yatagarasu's key Mr. Faraday mentions in his organizer. This is how the knife was brought into the courthouse. You're not making any sense, Miles Edgeworth. You just need to look a bit closer, Francesca, to see what I mean. Don't the color and ornamentation of the key's handle remind you of anything? They do remind me of the knife. Very good. Both the Yatagarasu's key in this photo and the murderous knife have this very unique design on their handles. Furthermore, even though Mr. Faraday mentions the Yatagarasu's key, the only object we found at the crime scene was the knife. You don't seriously mean to say... It appears that you finally caught up. And yes, I do mean to say that these two pieces are, in fact, one and the same. But that's impossible! Even if that is what you believe, we should still investigate this possibility. Now then, let us examine this knife in a little more detail. Yeah, I think he's onto something here. It's the weapon that was used to kill Mr. Faraday. The handle and the blade itself both have beautiful designs worked into them. Look, there's even a flower-shaped design in this gold section here. If this hadn't been used as a tool for murder, I'd want it for myself. Seems to be drawn to the embellishments. Bad this isn't mine to give. Alright. Flip it most of the way over. Doesn't seem to be much else to see on the backside, though. It's the same thing there. Oh, I didn't even mean to click there. Look at this, maybe. Aha! There we go. I can't believe it turned into a key. To think there was such a trick to this thing. So the weapon used to kill Mr. Faraday is actually the key the Yatagarasu stole. This piece of information is more critical than anything we've learned up until now. Excellent, excellent. Dinner at the Von Karma house must be a dramatic mess. Pass the salt, please. You foolish fool! Prove to me that you need the salt. And why didn't you anticipate the need for it earlier in this meal? It sounds so painful. Hey, Punisher, welcome in. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. A butterfly knife with a butterfly pattern and a hidden key. Kinda wild. Frankly, I'm shocked. Mr. Faraday only mentioned the key aspect of this piece of evidence in his organizer. It's possible that even he had no idea this key was hiding a knife blade inside. But if that's true, then only someone who knew about the key did a knife trick could have killed Mr. Faraday. Even among law enforcement, this key was top secret. We're looking for someone who knew even more about the key than even Mr. Faraday. Meaning that the only person it could be is the one who sent the key in the first place. The great thief Yatagarasu. And maybe Mr. Rel really was the Yatagarasu. He was the one who killed Mr. Faraday. Isn't that one possible scenario? No, not really, especially since Mr. Faraday was absolutely convinced that Mr. Rel was not the Yatagarasu. Besides, as Detective Bad said earlier, but when we questioned Rel about what was sent along with the white card, Rel had no idea what it was. I see. Alright then, I guess the person who knows the trick behind this key is someone else, and that person is the real Yatagarasu. It seems that this key is truly the key to solving this case. Alright. So that just leaves the manila envelope then. Let's see what's in here. Yesterday was productive. Excellent, excellent. Congratulations. Give me just a moment. I got a tickle in my throat. I'll be right back. Oh, sorry about that. Alright, let's go ahead and check the envelope here. I took a quick look through these documents before the trial started. Well, I wasn't even afforded the opportunity to skim it. I suppose I should explain it to you then. Yes, you should. Perfectly, and in its entirety, if you please. On the night of September 8th, an embassy staff member was killed in front of the embassy. The staff member died of shock due to being shot in the heart. Mac Rel was brought in that night as a suspect and thoroughly questioned, because the murder weapon is found on him, for which he was arrested on the spot. A simpleton of a man, that's what he was. Perhaps he was, for the weapon wasn't the only incriminating evidence we had. Mr. Rel was caught in the act on film by a security camera. He was an even bigger simpleton than I'd thought. Can't believe he didn't notice a security camera. The Cadopian Embassy's security system is supposedly very well designed. He may have simply not been aware that there was a camera in that area. So, have you seen the contents of the video for yourself? Yes, the surveillance video the security camera took was played during the trial by Mr. Faraday. You can clearly identify Mr. Rel on it. Even the sound of the gunshot was crystal clear. So the footage included sound, huh? I don't think I'd ever want to see the moment of someone's death in real life. Me neither. That's odd. We're short one piece of evidence. And the piece that's missing is the surveillance video that was played in court. Surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Gee, maybe it could have been stolen by one of the people that have been running around touching things for the last several hours. Relentlessly, you returned from a grand adventure to the grocery store. What did you miss? We talked to Detective Bad about the Yatagarasu, and now Edgeworth has finally got the evidence from Mr. Faraday's trial, but we just found out that it's missing the security camera tape that was going to be the key piece of evidence towards the embassy murder. Plus, he has a sus mugshot, that's true too. But then there's also one piece of evidence in his favor. And that's that his name appears to be a joke about him being a red herring? That makes me nervous. The video showing the moment in which Mr. Rel committed the murder. Where could it have gone, indeed? Are you done with your inspection of the evidence? Yes, I'm finished. However, Your Honor, I'm missing a single piece of prosecutorial evidence. Your Honor? Were you derelict in your duties? What? No! I dare not lick my duties! What do you take me for? No, Your Honor, the most important piece of evidence in today's trial. The surveillance video is not amongst the evidence you laid out for me. But I brought Mr. Faraday's whole bag with me from the crime scene. Maybe the tape is still somewhere at the crime scene? Something wrong here. Something about this missing piece of evidence. It would appear that for me to find the answers I seek, I'll have to pay another visit to the scene of the crime, defendant lobby number 2. This is a really tough case. Things just do not seem to want to add up for us. Of course, evidence is missing, otherwise this wouldn't be an Ace Attorney game. Also, I'm pretty sure that the little girl, Kay, pocketed a piece of evidence because they decided to let her just run around the crime scene. Because of course they do. Arthur Cross, welcome in. How are you doing today? That's Detective Bad, but who is he with? I've never seen that officer before. So, did you find it? No, not yet, and I've looked everywhere. I see. Well then, please continue with the search. Understood. I'll continue the search. So you're the one running the show. Prosecutors like you shouldn't even be allowed at crime scenes. How dare you? Just who do you think you are? I don't recognize the guy, but I recognize the music. What was all that about? And who was that man just now? Whoever he was, I've never seen a more impudent officer in my life. Does he even know that we're standing right here behind him? I know you're standing right behind me. What do you want, kids? Looks like you were paying attention after all. Of course I was. I have eyes in the back of my head. So that mirror isn't for vanity's sake. For him to keep an eye on who or what is behind him at all times. So tell me, Detective Bad, who was that rude man just now? The guy came here from the Republic of Zengfa to study. He's Agent Lang. He's trying everything he can to revive the lost honor of his family. He's traveling the world to study different philosophies of detainment from scratch. By visiting various police departments around the world, he has a lot of dedication. He's still just a rookie cop, but I sense a strong grudge of some sort from him. The guy's more useful than Gumshoe, even if he is rude. Well, he sure has a lot of guts to come to this country and give prosecutors a hard time. I agree. However, I can think of one young lady that statement also applies to. Anyway, what was that agent looking for, Detective Bad? Earlier, that little girl was poking around in lobby number 1 as well. Like I said before, it's got nothing to do with the two of you. I highly doubt that it has nothing to do with me. Fine, if this is the game I must play, then I will take this opportunity to draw out what he's been hiding and what happened in this room straight from him. Sounds like we gotta do another questioning session right here. The ultimate hard-boiled detective. Yeah, I still don't understand how he survived some of these gunshot wounds. There's one right in his back, there's 2 in his thigh? How on earth did he survive those? That is one tiny TV. Detective Gumshoe is rather shocked at this and said it's huge compared to his own. Anything you compare with something he owns will always seem grandiose. Speaking of grandiose, I'd say that ego of yours could use a little deflating. He's just that tough. Putting the hard and hard-boiled, I'd assume. Well, it's just bouncing right off of him. Built like a frickin' tank! Earlier, you were in lobby number 1, and now you're here in lobby number 2. You're quite the busy man, Detective Bad. Multiple returns to a crime scene brings about success. That's what we detectives say. I see. In that case, you wouldn't mind if I asked about what happened again, correct? I don't have anything left to say to you, boy. Boy, you'll see. I will draw my answer from you one way or another. Would it kill you to help us even a tiny bit in our investigation? I gave Faraday's notebook to the judge earlier. That's help enough, don't you think? Ugh! Please, we're asking you for just a bit more of your cooperation. Don't push me, kid. Oh, he's a fun one. This is gonna be fun, I'm sure. Prove that the coat was on his body when it was shot. Oh god, that does sound like something one of the prosecutors would say. Oh, they're so exhausting. I'd like to ask once again about what happened around here at the time of the crime. I refuse to answer. Any more investigating you do will be a waste of time. Besides, how am I supposed to answer questions about things I don't know about? Things you don't know about? But aren't you supposed to know everything? He should. Wait, is it possible? Maybe he doesn't know about the trick behind that piece of evidence. I should try showing it to him. It may prove to be the key to getting some answers from Detective Bad. Alright. Yeah, I guess let's see what he knows about Yatagarasu's key. He's a wonderful conversationalist, let me tell you. Hallian, welcome in. How are you doing today, Hallian? Objection, you started the trial before I was present. Technically, we haven't started a trial at all. I'm not sure we're going to. But welcome in, Hallian. How's everything going with you? Detective Bad, did you know of the existence of the item in this photograph? Of course I did. My job to know everything related to the Yatagarasu case. In that case, let me ask you something. Did you know that the knife that killed Mr. Faraday and this Yatagarasu's key are one and the same? What? That's impossible. Looks like he didn't know after all. This piece of evidence, which we call the Yatagarasu's key, is actually a well-camouflaged knife. Mr. Faraday was planning to use this Yatagarasu's key to prove that Mr. Bell was not the real Yatagarasu. Isn't that correct? I guess so. However, Mr. Faraday had no idea that it was, in fact, a knife. Yeah, I have to admit, neither one of us knew that fact. And if neither of us knew, then no one in law enforcement knew either. How did we miss something as big as this? I noticed that since a little while ago you appear to be searching for something. I presume that this key is what you were searching for? Yeah, that's right. And why were you searching for it? Because I promised Faraday. Promised that I'd protect that key with my life. But after it was killed, the key disappeared from Faraday's evidence bag. Who would have thought that the key was what took Faraday's life? Detective Bad, so that we may find the truth, please testify for me once more. Alright. But it doesn't matter how many times I tell you about what happened. Nothing'll change. Alright, gotta run him through the evidence again. Hallian just finished the first stage of painting your Elder Shroud Rangers. Ooh. Feel free to toss some pics up in Discord, I'd love to see. Warden, welcome back in. I hope the work call went smoothly for you. Wonder how many Ace Attorney Law and Order crossover fan. Oh, there must be a lot. Is that a censored cigarette? Is it supposed to have a lollipop? I think it's supposed to have the lollipop because that feels like the vibe of Phoenix Wright games, but I'm not 100% sure. Hey, Doc Belvin, good morning. How are you doing today? Honestly, this soundtrack's awesome. I'm loving this music. Detective Bad, I ask that you please testify once more about what happened in lobby number 2 and what you experienced in lobby number 1. My answer is still the same. And this is the last time I'm going to do this. That's fine, because I only need this one last time to clear everything up and to find the truth behind this case. That's true. That does seem to be a villain trait right there. That's fair, Doc Belvin. Just because you like the video game doesn't mean you're going to like the TTRPG rules. I'm going to try and post later. There was actually a game that was going around a month or two ago that was inspired by the Final Fantasy series. And has a really gorgeous book with it as well. Alright, Detective Bad's movements. I was in lobby number 1, talking with you. We were talking about some trivial things. I heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene. When we heard it, you and I immediately dashed out in the hallway together. I saw Gumshoe goofing around there, and then we all ran into lobby number 2. Sounds like the exact same story he told us before. Indeed. However, I feel that we have yet to draw out all the information that we can. Yeah, I gotta press him on a few things there. Ah, gotcha, Warded Animal. Some as per my previous email stuff. I know that vibe. So we'll save here. You're talking about some trivial things.
Hold it.
I was hoping you could expand on what exactly you were discussing with Ms. Yu. Trivial stuff was nothing important. That's for me to decide. Alright, I suppose that's him for decide. Moving on then. Wow, you gave in real easily there, Edgeworth. Holy shit. You heard the gunshot right before the trial was about to reconvene.
Hold it.
Until you heard the gunshot, did you notice anything else that was out of the ordinary? I didn't hear any other strange sounds till that gunshot. The gunshot Detective Bad heard was really the one from the murder. That would give the other piece of evidence an entirely different meaning. I ask that you please amend your testimony with that statement just now. Sure. Didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Ooh, I actually think I know what's going on here.
Hold it.
Detective Bad, you honestly don't remember hearing anything else. Yeah. Is it possible you were so involved in your conversation that you missed something? I've been a detective for a long time, and even if I were involved in something, I've got quite the habit of keeping tabs on everything that goes on around me. If there had been some other strange sound, you can be sure I would have heard it. Suppose with this detective that's probably very likely. So, the gunshot. Alright, so let's go back here. I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. Let's save. LTG, welcome in! How are you doing today, LTG? It's true, chat is a bunch of cuties. Can confirm. Only one Hellion? That's wild. I would have thought there'd be way more than that. Alright, let's present... I think this is the only thing I have here. I'm gonna check. Yeah, take a quick look through everything we've got. I've got an idea what's going on here, though. Just need to figure out how to press it properly. Alright, yeah.
Objection.
Apparently that wasn't it, though. Damn it. Cuties, as in the mandarin oranges? Ah, damn it, so that wasn't it. Alright, so... So that wasn't what I was hoping would happen there. Let's keep going through his testimony then. That might be a mistake. Alright, so when you heard it, you and you immediately dash out into the hallway together.
Hold it.
And why did the two of you dash out into the hallway straight away? Because we clearly heard the sound of a gunshot. And we knew it came from somewhere nearby. And how did you know that it was a gunshot? In my line of work, you hear enough of them to know. I suppose it's only natural for a detective to know what a real gunshot sounds like. Given the circumstances, the only person I could think of whose life would have been in danger was Faraday. That's why I ran out into the hallway right away and headed for where he was. Alright, saw Gumshoe goofing around and then you all went into the lobby together.
Hold it.
Detective Gumshoe was there in the hallway. Yeah. Why didn't you attest to that earlier? When I saw Gumshoe, it was after I'd heard about the gunshot. Having seen him then didn't change the fact that he still could have done the deed. Sounds exactly like what Detective Bad told us before. However, is there something in particular we should be asking the detective about? Just might be. No one knew that the knife is actually Yatagarasu's key. Reflecting on that, perhaps there are other things that we know now, but Detective Bad doesn't know yet. Yes, that should be my angle of attack. The gum shot! Gum no pistol? Possibly? I mean, don't forget LTG, he's a prosecutor, but also today's his very first day. So... Oh, that's awesome, Relentlessly. You're supporting the devs, supporting the series. I think that's really awesome of you. How did you know it was the gunshot? Where do you think these holes in my jacket came from? I have also played around with the objection generator. If you haven't seen Hellion, they added so many features to it. You can basically create entire scenes in it now, which is wild. The Apollo Justice Collection comes with a green screen so you can make your own scenes? Hell yes! Yeah, I know, it's insane.
Hold it.
Why did Ms. Yu choose lobby number 1? Answer me! Who knows? She just said that she had something she wanted to talk to me about. And we walked into lobby number 1 together. That's all. This answer remains the same as before, I see. Alright, so I didn't hear any other strange sounds until that gunshot. There's gotta be something we can present for that. Oh! Ooh.
Objection.
Now here we got something. Detective Bad, does this balloon fragment remind you of anything? Same color as the one Kay was holding. Oh, so you knew about that girl's balloon? Yeah, I was sitting with her up in the gallery. During the recess, just before we split up, I filled that balloon up for her. Well, as you may have already surmised, this piece did indeed come from Kay's balloon. So, what about the balloon? I wonder if you might remember hearing this balloon pop at some point. What are you getting at? This fragment was found in the hallway right in front of lobby number 2. Furthermore, it was the sound of this balloon popping that the judge mistook as a gunshot. Oh, the sound the judge heard was not actually a gunshot, huh? On top of that, His Honor said he heard the balloon pop. About 20 minutes before the trial was to reconvene. Yes, which means that His Honor heard the balloon pop in the hallway, when you were in lobby number 1, Detective Bad. And if you were in lobby number 1 at that time, you were close enough that you should have heard the balloon popping as well. So... don't give me a so! We just proved that there's a flaw in your testimony! Crackling of the truth. It's louder than the sound of your sweet naivete crackling. What? And since you kids don't seem to know, let me fill you in on something. Did you ever stop to think why the doors and walls of this place seem so rugged? That's because they were designed to keep secrets from being leaked. What is that supposed to mean? The doors and walls are super thick, and the window panes are double layered. Top it all off, even the curtains are made of a special sound-absorbing material. Then you mean... Since I was shut up inside lobby number 1, there's no way I could have heard that sound. No! Knew that's what he was going to say. And that means that Scruffface's testimony is completely useless. If the rooms are soundproof, then of course he wouldn't hear any sign of a struggle. That's also why it's only natural that I didn't hear the balloon popping. Now do you get it, kids? Miles, I thought we were supposed to be the ones finding laws in his logic. Not the other way around. Other way around? It's not possible to hear the sound of a balloon popping if one were in lobby number 1. However, if we examine this situation in reverse, the person standing in the hallway should not be able to hear the real gunshot either. And yet, Detective Gumshoe claims to have heard it while he was standing in the hallway. Detective Bad, if that is the case, how exactly did you hear the gunshot? That is a very good question. Let's see where we're at right now. Let me get caught up on shit. Relentlessly, you rewatched the live-action series with your friend? He's referring to one of the male characters as your baby girl. You are now the resident baby girl expert. That's a good place to be in. I just finished episode 4 of the live action today, so I finished the Kuro arc. Still liking it a lot. Still very good. Just amazing casting, it really was. Let's see, it's always the amended testimony you gotta work with, isn't it? It's never, I demand you amend the testimony, then you just leave it as it is. There is actually, typically in the final case of each game, there's usually at least one amended testimony that is a trap somehow. So they don't do it very commonly, but occasionally, they do have a red herring amended testimony, which is pretty interesting. I think one case in one of the games may have even had more than one red herring, which is interesting. And welcome in, some guy in a hat. How are you doing today? Hope you're doing well. Proto Sanji? Surely One Piece is older than this. One Piece so old. Let's see. Well, that's diabolical. All right, let's continue. What do you mean, how? I just did. It would appear that you have yet to realize the contradiction in your own words. Oh, how so? If the rooms are as soundproof as you say they are, then how did the sound of the shot enter your ears? I see what you mean. Guess I'm more out of it from Faraday's murder than I had thought. Which means what exactly, Miles? In the end, what does it all boil down to? Boils down to this. There must be a reason. As to how Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard a gunshot, they theoretically couldn't have. Looks like we need to examine the state of the crime scene again, huh? State of the crime scene? Wait, can it be? That ultra-strong perfume you wears. She spilled some of it. I think I see where he's going. Ah! Way too noisy! A surveillance video? How could a piece of evidence just disappear? Where did it go? Alright! One Piece is older than any of my siblings, and that's wild to me. It's been going on for so long. Like, legitimately, when One Piece ends, it will be the end of an era. In a very, very real way. 1995. God damn. Oh, the manga started in 97, anime in 99. Gotcha, gotcha. Alright, so... see if we can connect these two. It's simply not possible for the killer to escape through barred windows. And yet, the fragrance of the perfume managed to escape from defendant lobby number 1. Of course, incorporeal things can freely move between these open barred windows. Things like smells or sounds. Supposedly, Oda has said that he believes that One Piece, the manga, could end as early as 2024 or 2025. So it sounds like the first one out of those is probably going to be One Piece, oddly enough. Now then, what else besides a smell can both go in and out of an open, barred window? The answer is sound. So, no matter how careful the killer was, if the windows were open, the jig would be up. And since the windows in both defendant lobby number 1 and the hallway were open, that explains how the sound of the gunshot could be heard in both locations. Which just means one thing, which is what I was building to for a while now. The missing piece of evidence is a video. It shows the moment in which Mr. Rell killed the embassy staff member. The sound of the gunshot left quite an impression on me when it was played during the trial. The video should have been returned to Mr. Faraday's evidence bag for the recess, and brought back here. This has appeared after that time. It's possible that the tape is still here in this room. Eureka! The evidence that the missing evidence created for me is the gunshot sound that no one should have been able to hear in the first place. Miles, what have you been thinking about? Stop wasting time thinking and let's start looking again. It's not a waste of time to think, for I have figured out where we should look. And where would that be? I believe we should examine the television. TV. Well, you kids have fun. Go ahead and examine whatever you like. I mean, I know exactly what we're looking for here, so this shouldn't take too long. I mean, technically, yeah, the original era of Pokemon did end a while back, so that's true. Oh, Clone Wars! Good series right there, Clone Wars. God, Detective Conan, yeah. Detective Conan, at least, is a series that doesn't really have any sort of ongoing story. That was actually the thing that frustrated me about it originally, because they had this setup where the main character got poisoned, and he A, wants to go after the person who poisoned him, and B, wants to get unpoisoned. And if you watch the show, they've basically forgotten about that. Because if he never catches the guy, they can just keep the series going forever, and that seems to be the plan. I will say, though, Detective Conan is fucking awesome. And if you want to know where to start, the answer is anywhere. Literally pick any random episode of Detective Conan and watch it, and that's where you start. It's fine. It doesn't matter. That's the key there, LTG. Like, you don't need to watch every Detective Conan episode. Just pick a couple that sound cool and watch those ones. That's basically it. Hey, Trey Dog! Thank you for a 61-month resub there. I appreciate the heck out of that. Welcome in also. How's your week going so far? Hope everything's going good with you. Yeah, we've seen him before. We've seen a bunch of members of the organization. But they only generally pop up in the movies, I understand. I'd say Man-at-Arms over on YouTube made Kenshin's reverse-bladed katana. Ooh, that's really cool. That's a really interesting design. I like that one. Yeah, that's where I first saw Detective Conan, was on Adult Swim back in the day. It was pretty good. Oh yeah, unfortunately, if you're trying to watch Detective Conan in English, it's not easy. Like, there's so many that haven't even been translated, I don't think. Bad times. It's a video player, and there seems to be a tape inside. Also, Malkel, welcome in. How's everything going with you? It looks like it. The tape must have stopped on its own when it reached the end. Tape. Could it not be the missing surveillance tape? I suppose, but... Detective Bad, would it be alright if I verified the contents of this video? Sure. Knock yourself out. Alright then, let's rewind this and see what we have. If I remember correctly, the footage of Rel killing the embassy staff member should be about the 30-minute mark from the start of the tape. I know, the videotape isn't the most obvious place. Why? Why, when they were going over this room with enough detail to look for fingerprints, did nobody just poke their finger inside the flap on the VCR? How long does that take? How out there is that? How easy of a leap is that to make? Come on, folks. Yeah, I know, this noise is very nostalgic there. This should be about right. Now then, let's see. This is the footage of Mr. Rel shooting the embassy staff member. I knew it. The missing piece of evidence, the surveillance video, was here all along. This sound. What's the meaning of this? It appears that Detective Bad has figured out the true source of the gunshot he heard. With this, I think we can figure out the trick behind this double murder. Do you mean that you figured it all out, then? Yes. All I have to do now is show what the gunshot Detectives Bad and Gumshoe heard was, and through where they heard it from. Fine. In that case, show me what you've deduced. So to show what the gunshot they heard was, and through where they heard it from. Is this a question at this point? I thought we already established all this. It seemed like it was pretty straightforward. Right, the writer of the first 3 games basically stepped away after this because he didn't want the series to continue. So they brought in a new team, but they originally tried to honor his wishes by not having Phoenix be the protagonist anymore. Oh, you had some Dot Hack Avenue back in the day. Nice, nice. I think I've actually got some of the, there was a, Persona 4, TCG as well for a while. I have some of those somewhere, which is interesting. Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes it's really hard, too. It's kind of all over the place sometimes. Is this spot somehow connected to any of the evidence I hold? This piece of evidence will clear away the last remaining contradiction in this case. Miles, I believe that piece may actually be proof of a different last of sorts. Visit today will be your last day as a prosecutor. Oh, come on. Alright, what do they want from me then? Now I'm not sure what they actually want from me here. Hey, Life 4, and it has been good up till now, but now I'm not sure what they want from me here. Ooh, Hellion, I might want to look into that because I actually have a couple of dead TCGs I'm still kind of into. Sounds really good. Let's see, so what do they want here? Hey, Abstractism, I am doing good. How about yourself? How are you doing here? Oh, thank you, Hellion. I appreciate that. Well, I mean... Like, we already know what happened. He heard the videotape through the open window. I just need to figure out how exactly I need to present it now. so that I can get past this segment? This is really weird. I guess I'll try the other way around from what I was doing before. Try using the tape here. Ah, there we go. I was in the neighborhood at least, I suppose. Life Forward, you have an entire plastic bin of the old Bleach TCG? Oh, it's so awesome. The main dead TCGs I would like to get some more of are... The number one is Magi Nation. I love that game. It was so good. I also wouldn't mind having some old Doomtown cards, although I have a bunch of new Doomtown cards. And I wouldn't mind picking up some of the original Netrunner. Although, again, I have a shitload of the new Netrunner. Let's see. Did you see the new trailer for Novalis? I have not yet. I have not. Should I look into that after stream? Let's see. Have you played the GBC Magi Nation video game? A little bit. A little bit. I thought it was just okay, but the actual card game I really loved. I thought it was fantastic. Let me make sure I'm caught up here. Let's see. I posted the link. They have Magi Nation, not Doomtown or Netrunner. Yeah. Oh, God. Android Netrunner was so good. Honestly, Android Netrunner probably the best TCG I've ever played. And could have easily went for another decade if it wasn't for Wizards of the Coast. Let's see. If the door and windows to the crime scene, namely this room that we're in, were closed, the killer could have used this gun and no one would have been the wiser. That's true. This courthouse does seem to be well designed for such a thing, as it were. However, what happened in reality was Detective Gumshoe, Detective Bad, and Ms. Yu, all three of them heard the gunshot. Life Forward, you've never heard of any of the ones as they mentioned, so Magi Nation's probably the one you've have the least reason to have heard of because it never really did very well. It did have a Game Boy Color video game, I think. And it was supposed to have a cartoon as well. I don't think that actually came out, though. Deadlands, very cool. And actually, they're still currently publishing a Deadlands TCG, though it's not compatible with the old one. But it's interesting. It's interesting. And Android Netrunner was a huge, huge card game for a while, and it was based on an old card game that had some very cool mechanics, but didn't sell very well. Wait, why fuck Fantasy Flight? They're not the ones that canceled Netrunner. They wanted to keep going with it. They wanted to keep going with it bad. I like how Francesca's blorbing is a different pitch from Miles. I do like how they vary the speed of how text comes out then. They also killed L5R twice, that's true. Although the second time it just wasn't selling very well. But yeah, Fantasy Flight desperately wanted to keep Netrunner going, but they were unable to because of Wizards of the Coast. It's a Game Gumo. I know Magi Nation entirely through the Game Boy Color game being in Nintendo Power. Oh my god, it's yeah, I don't know as much about that, but I was huge into the card game, which is pretty cool. Yeah, the style of old L5R was just really cool. I wouldn't mind picking up some old L5R as well, but like, I need to stop getting into dead card games. I really do. Abstracted, do you mean original Netrunner or new Netrunner? Because both of them were interesting in their own way, but the new one was very, very cool. Oh yeah, Dragon Ball Super apparently has a rabid fan base, which is interesting. Well, the windows in lobby number 1, number 2, and the hallway were open. So naturally, the people in those locations could hear it. Ah, but then, why would the criminal open the window in the first place? To allow the gunshot to be heard, I suppose. Correct. That's the only logical conclusion we can draw from this. But why was that necessary in the first place? I want a real answer, Miles. I demand satisfaction. Very well. I believe that the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of a certain fact. What was it the killer wanted to manipulate our perception of? The killer wanted to fabricate the time of death to their precise wishes, and they used the gunshot in the surveillance video to do so. So that's why the tape was left running. You mean the gunshot I heard was from this video? Yes! Thank you for catching up to 10 minutes ago, Detective. Abstracted than the one that came out in the 90s, it was really cool, but like nobody was playing it back in the day, which was unfortunate. That was during the TCG boom, when there was a ton of card games coming out and very few of them got traction, which is unfortunate. I actually have a starter deck of Old Netrunner as well, which is kind of cool because some of the cards I have in Old Netrunner have counterparts in New Netrunner, which I thought was really neat. Yeah, everybody wanted to be Magic, and it turns out nobody was very good at being Magic, unfortunately. Relentlessly, it's true. Not the first time. We need to start a dead TCG league on Discord. That would actually be kind of rad. You could say he was bad at picking up on that clue. You could. You could. Yes, which means that the murders really occurred at an earlier time than we thought. Must have been during the recess, but before Detective Gumshoe was on guard duty. Someone who has no alibi for that time period, and planned this crime out in advance. That person is the real killer. I've got a theory, although I still haven't quite figured out how they did it. But I've got a theory now, so that's something. Mr. Edgeworth! Yes, what is it? Ms. Yu is asking for you. She's in the courtroom. She says that she's identified the murderer, but that she wants to clarify something. Looks like Ms. Yu is still investigating something. Understood. Please tell her that I'll be right over. I'll come along. I want to hear what she has to say. A theory? A game theory? Never. Yeah, Edgeworth's just been staring out the window going, Let's see, it would appear that the time has come to uncover the truth. To be continued. And we will definitely be saving here. Alright, we're progressing at a good clip so far then. I appreciate this. So I guess let's see what happens next. September 10th, 6:15 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Yeah, Genshin Impact does have a TCG in-game. I actually re-downloaded Genshin Impact just because I wanted to try out the TCG, and then it's like, oh, you need to be level 100,000 before you're eligible to play it. And I'm like, I just want to play cards. So I'm back to Marvel Snap. Also, play Marvel Snap, it's awesome. It's so good! Hey, what are you doing here? Oh, hello, mister. I'm still investigating. The object you're looking for is already... Okay, don't mind him. Please, continue with your investigation. Final Fantasy IX also had card games. Oh god, I played entirely too much of the card game in Final Fantasy IX. Way too much. I just want to play Mahjong, but I gotta be level 25. Oh. There is actually a Mahjong gacha game out there called Mahjong Spirits. Moss Bios got me into it a little bit, but for some reason, I just can't grasp the strategy of Mahjong. I get how to play. I just don't know how to play well yet. It might be Mahjong Soul. I think Mahjong Soul is the one I was thinking of. That's the one I played a little bit of. Like I said, I learned how to play. I never quite got how to play well, unfortunately. And thank you for the shout out for Moss Bios as well. If anybody's not watching her, she's on a little bit of a sabbatical at the moment, but that just means you should be following her now so you get notified next time she goes live. Watch your opponent's discards and don't discard tiles they're waiting on or that aren't safe to. Oh, I'm so bad at that. LTG, I'm going to put a term in the chat, LTG, if you've never heard of it before. It's for the game Go. I'm sure you're familiar with that game. Look this up if you've never seen it before. Or hang on, I think it's, I might be misspelling. I think, damn it, if you've never heard of this term before, look it up. Look up Nuclear Tetsuji. Look it up immediately. There's a wonderful webpage you will find about it. This is going to make your entire day, LTG. LTG, you're going to have a smile on your face for the rest of the day once you know that Nuclear Tetsuji is a thing. And you're welcome. Oh my god. Yeah, Tetramaster got weirdly complicated, and it was really hard trying to figure out what any of those letters and numbers mean. The mightiest tactic! I mean, don't forget the original feature in Tabletop Simulator was that you can flip the table and then hit undo to put everything back. Whenever I'm playing on Tabletop Simulator and somebody does anything that even mildly irritates me, I immediately flip the table and then just put it back. Every single time. If you're playing Tabletop Simulator, not constantly flipping the table, what are you even doing? You were right to Hikaru no Go do this. I have not seen enough Hikaru no Go. I think I've only watched the first arc. But tell me that isn't the best thing you've seen all day, LTG. Okay, you got it. Detective Bad, haven't we already found what you were looking for? Means I can keep her in the dark just a little longer. Any little task will do. Oh, you're more sympathetic than I thought. Including its top other crewmates? Oh god. If you're not making moves that make your friends want to flip the table, what are you even doing? Don't play Magic the Gathering with me. I play blue decks. I don't want to reduce your life points to 0. I want you to get so irritated with playing the game in the first place that you concede, just to not be playing the game anymore. I'm usually a Boy Scout. You put a TCG in my hand, I'm a monster. I think that's honestly my favorite thing about Tabletop Simulator is it has a lot of implementations of board games you can't really buy anymore except on eBay. And that's really cool. Hey Pearl Honto, I'm doing great. How about yourself? How are you doing today? You're a Boy Scout except for TGDs, necklaces, and Dwarven Dust Town merchants. Hey, I didn't know they were going to kill the Dwarven Dust Town guy. I was just trying to scare him. And then he's suddenly dead. And then I'm like, let's leave immediately. Oh god, back in the day of the 200 card magic deck. That's when I actually got into the game, Kissa. I remember those days. Oh my god. I've been waiting for you, Edgeworth. I gotta remember CCU's voice is in the back of my throat, whereas Francesca's is in the front of my mouth. It's a weird voice actor thing to say, but I gotta remember that, because I don't have a lot of variety in my female character voices, but that's one of the big ones. Francesca's in front, CC's in back. She's very breathy when she talks. I've also been waiting for this moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. The moment in which we can finally lay this case to rest. Wasn't that when we placed Detective Gumshoe under arrest? I think we've more than solved this case already. Don't you? We'll see. It all depends on whether or not your logic holds. Oh, I see we even have a viewer in the gallery. And why, even Mr. Bad is here. A viewer in the gallery? I am hardly just a bystander. I have a duty to see this case through to the end, no matter how it turns out. Oh, is that right? Anyway, I thought you might like to hear what I slaved away to find out. I've taken statements on every single person's movements during the time when our suspect was in the hallway. I also confirmed that there's no possible route of escape from lobby number 2. Therefore, the killer must without a doubt be Detective Gumshoe. Are we back on this bullshit? Last week Sunday we spent 6 hours proving it wasn't. Oh my god. Oh, Gumshoe is just a boat anchor tied around my neck, constantly dragging me down. You definitely think Francesca would have a throaty voice? Probably because of the whip. I think I thought of her as more of a, like, my first instinct when I first saw her is she has a very haughty, high-born voice. How dare you, Miles Edgeworth? Watch what you say to me. And I usually stick with my first instinct for a voice. Sometimes after I get like a paragraph or two through them, I'm like, oh, I'm doing the wrong voice, and I just kind of switch. But her, I'm basically stuck with my first instinct, I think. You must be kidding me. Oh yeah, they are reversed, because usually the prosecutor's over on the right side. That's interesting. I mean, technically we're not in a court session, so that makes sense. What's up? I'm back on my bullshit. I don't know if anybody remembers the young Scooby-Doo cartoon for the back in the day, but there was a running gag in there that Fred would always blame every crime on this guy named Red Herring. And that's all I can think right now. She's got big Fred blaming Red Herring energy. Yeah, technically we haven't found who did it, so yeah, we gotta just keep blaming whoever they originally blamed until we can prove somebody else. Shady schemes, but also Miles Edgeworth. Truth! Truth! Pup named Scooby-Doo, thank you. I couldn't remember the actual name, but that is it. That is it. Emperor! And that's all you have. Yeah, that's all there is to my conclusion, and this case. Sorry, but I beg to differ. Like, Edgeworth, I know what Edgeworth's voice sounds like, and I'm not doing that because Edgeworth has a British accent. And I don't have a good enough British accent to carry it through several games. And as soon as Edgeworth started speaking, I'm like, no, I'm just not going to do a British accent. I'm not going to do a British accent because I'm not good enough at that. So instead, I just gave him a know-it-all voice. Just tired of all of this, having to listen to all of his obviously wrong things from all these obviously poor people. So I just went with that, and that's what Edgeworth sounds like for me now. Alex, welcome in, Alex. How are you doing today? How was the rest of your stream? I was hanging around a bit earlier. Hope you're doing well. Hope the rest of your stream went very good. And welcome in, everybody. For anybody from Alex's stream that doesn't know me, my name is Shane. That's Shane's Games. I play the obscure, the unusual, and the nostalgic. Today we're playing Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth, originally for the DS. We are playing the Android remaster. And if anybody in here is not following Alex, he plays a little bit of everything. He was playing so many games today. Holy crap. Variety within just one stream. It's a beautiful thing. Including a very cool horror game I'd never even heard of, that was a joy to watch. I was actually hanging out there earlier. You should be hanging out there too. Click that link, give him a follow, check him out next time he's live. He's good people. Yeah, one time it was Red Herring. They had to play him at least once. No, Commander Keen, I'm basically trying to play the series in release order. So the only games I've played so far are Ace Attorney 1, 2, 3, and this one now. I played a little bit of Apollo Justice off stream, but I think I only played the first case or so. I didn't get very far into it. You didn't know of a horror game? I mean, there's approximately 200 new horror games coming out per day, so it's bad times. How's my favorite voice actor doing? I'm doing pretty good. I was just actually explaining how I do, or why I came up with some of the different characters' voices. Like I was saying that Edgeworth, we know in canon Edgeworth has a British accent, but I'm not very good at doing a British accent. So I just gave him A snooty, sarcastic voice that's just so tired of all this. Whereas CCU, most of my motivation behind CCU's voice was just make sure she sounds different from Francesca, which I don't think I did a great job of, but I'm trying. So I was saying Francesca I do in the front of my mouth and CC I do in the back of my throat. She's the breathier voice out of the two, whereas Francesca speaks up here. What about an Australian accent? I wouldn't attempt that. I'm just not good at accents in general. I can kind of do a southern accent, but that's because most of my relatives are from the south, so I've heard a lot of it. But like, I feel like if I tried to do like an Irish accent or something, I'm like, I'd get 3 words into the sentence before I completely embarrass myself, so I'm not even gonna try. All right, let's continue on. In a trial, there is always time for rebuttal, and we are standing in a court of law. It'd be more than appropriate to follow the rules of court in this case, don't you think? How absolutely like a rookie to think such a thing. But alright, I'll play along and give you a proper testimony. If my logic is correct, then I've already won. All I have to do now is approve it, by showing who the real killer is. Everyone, sans the suspect, has an alibi for when the gun went off. Furthermore, the areas around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated, right? I also confirmed that there is no possible escape route from lobby number 2. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion, that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Do a Boston- oh god! Like, the problem is, if I try to do a Boston accent, I'll shift into a Chicago accent. The Chicago accent's very close. Like, there's a lot of similarities between the Boston accent and the Chicago accent. I was just mentioning in Tom's stream the other day, the old joke about the Chicago accent is if you want to drop into a Chicago accent, there's 3 phrases you need to remember. Number 1 is milk, which in the Chicago accent is milk. There's the front room, which in the Chicago accent is pronounced front room. And the biggest one is sausage, which in the Chicago accent is pronounced sausage. That's the key one right there. You got to hit that A right there. Sausage. Passage. Emperor, where did you park the car? In the Harvard Yard. Park the car in the Harvard Yard. There you go, Rin. You got it. And good morning, Rin. How are you doing today? Yeah, if Gumshoe actually wanted to kill someone, that person would live forever. That's the problem right there. The Bears. That's the most extreme, silly version of the Chicago accent. But, like, if you go to a Bears game, and after the Bears game, find the nearest bar to that and go there, you're going to hear the Chicago accent. It's kind of wild. The Bears won 30-3. How about bagel like in New York? There is the New Yorker accent as well. The pin-pen merger. There you go. That's exactly what that is. Exactly. Sauce is sass. Put some barbecue sauce on there. Sausage. LTG, I feel more Chicagoan by the minute. Yes, got him. Bill Swirsky's Superfans. If you don't know what the Chicago accent is, look up Bill Swirsky's Superfans. It's an SNL sketch. It'll tell you everything you need to know. Your brain is melting? I'm sorry about that, Rin. That's unfortunate. Follows, you're stuck in IHOP, and so they fixed 12 pancakes and not being able to eat any of the pancakes. Oh, no! Pancakes that you can't have are the worst kind of pancakes. Welcome in, Follows. Glad to have you here. Now that you have your testimony, I expect a good rebuttal, Edgeworth. But of course, there's no need to confront her logic head on right now. I should instead focus on drawing out any trump cards she has up her sleeve. Yeah, SNL is super protective of that stuff. They don't like any of their stuff being on YouTube ever, which is very frustrating. Honestly, if you've got TikTok, there is about a bajillion SNL sketches on TikTok, so that might be a good place to look. Alright, so I'm going to press her on this statement right here because I think this one is probably the one most worthy of attack. I think I prefer pancakes to waffles, but like there's a lot of variety in the way you can make pancakes. There's very good pancakes and there's very bad pancakes. So like when I say I prefer pancakes and people say, oh, I don't like pancakes, I get you. I definitely get you. There's a lot of bad pancakes out there. Also, I just noticed my cam isn't centered. Push that over there.
Hold it.
The burger consists of 2 smashed beef patties, melted cheese, crispy bacon, hash browns, pancake, fried egg, maple syrup, cheese, and bacon bits. What? Hang on, we're clicking this link now. I wasn't gonna click the. Oh my god! I know I've gone on this rant on stream before. I'll say it again. That burger is too big. That burger is too big. In English, there is a word milch. I've never heard the word milch, I don't think. A 10-pound double cheeseburger with a 10-inch pizza as buns. Jesus Christ. That guy's gonna have a bad afternoon. The suspect. But I thought that Detective Gumshoe's alibi has already been proven. Are you joking, Edgeworth? I assure you this is no joke. Look, I know you heard from the judge earlier, but the detective was in the hallway with Mr. Faraday's daughter eating a Swiss roll. Yes, that is correct. Let's see, that was 20 minutes before the real gunshot went off, right? The problem is, there's no one else who can corroborate what he did since the snacking. See, she's done her research well, which means that I should focus on drawing out whatever trump cards she's withholding. Alright, so basically we're saying that we're not going to attack anything she said right now, we're going to try and get her to say more than what she said. So we can see what her big plan is here. Milk cows used to be milch cows. Interesting. I can hear that in my head, Hellion. I believe that. Right, so the area around the crime scene have all been thoroughly investigated.
Hold it.
Whether they've been thoroughly investigated or not is for me to decide. Scrunched eyebrows and lines in your forehead are back! Anyway, if you believe it hasn't been exhaustive, the crime scene, lobby number 2, has no way out other than the hallway Detective Gumshoe is standing in. And because he claimed to be there, that makes him the only possible suspect. But isn't it also possible that someone escaped through a window and into the garden? Oh, it's the first place everyone looked, silly. The police aren't a bunch of lazy bums. They looked into every possibility, you know? Isn't that right, Mr. Bad? Yeah. There wasn't a scrap of evidence to suggest someone used one of the windows. There also weren't any footprints or anything in the courtyard garden. I suppose they really did check everything that could be relevant to the case. She also confirmed that there was no possible escape route from lobby number 2.
Hold it.
Yeah, the earrings are a little bit on the nose there, I think. Let's see. Relentlessly, I think I mentioned this, but there's a wrestler in the wrestling show I watch that actually her whole gimmick is she's like a Sailor Moon villain. And she does the Ojo-san laugh, complete with the hand over the mouth and everything. It's so good. I love her. Oh yeah, there would be some gunk in those. Those would be gross earrings. Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? What promotion is this? This is AEW. She's not on the full-time roster. She guessed there. I'm going to put her name in chat because I love her. I believe that's her. I believe I've spelled her name correctly there. Are you absolutely positive that there are no possible routes of escape? Of course I'm sure. And why are you so certain? This is a courthouse, the place where criminals are brought to be judged. If there were an escape route, I'm sure every criminal would be using it to escape. Just common sense. Miles Edgeworth, I suggest you use a bit more of it in the future. Which leaves us with one unshakable conclusion that Detective Gumshoe is the killer. Yeah, Mox hurt his ankle jumping off the stage. He wasn't even in a match. Oh, that's rough. That's rough. Yeah, she's a little bit too much with the laughs here. It's a little weird. Oh, it's Emi Sakura, not Sakurai. I messed that up, my bad. I'm thinking of, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of the Smash Brothers guy, whose last name is Sakurai. Probably gets new earrings every time she puts any on. That would get expensive. Also, welcome in 4M. How are you doing today?
Hold it.
Yeah, Emmy works for, I believe she's the co-owner of a promotion called Choco Pro. I could be wrong, though. You may think it's unshakable, but to me, there are still too many unanswered questions. For example, who was it that placed the gun in Mr. Faraday's hand? But you're the only one still wondering that. Detective Gumshoe probably had no idea which hand Mr. Faraday used to write with. Even if you know someone, it doesn't mean you'll know which hand they write with, right? I mean, I certainly don't care about that sort of thing. Not about to let her get a rise out of me with such a flippant statement. Suppose we've really reached the end now. I already have my trump card ready. All that remains is to play it. But before I do, I think I should inquire into a little something about her argument. You said earlier that you confirmed the alibis of every person other than the suspect. However, I don't recall either Francesca or myself speaking with you about the subject. Ah, but there were witnesses. For you, there's your mentor who gave you an alibi. I see. As for the little Missy, she came to the courthouse during the recess. And we stopped by a security guard at the door to the hallway. She gave him quite a whipping for that, or so I heard. I'm the daughter of Manfred von Karma, and I will not be forcibly stopped by a guard or a bailiff or anyone else. Wait, so basically the only reason Francesca bothered to show up today because she found out that I was to be the replacement prosecutor? By the way, Ms. Yu, what about everyone's alibis before Detective Gumshoe was assigned to guard duty? What about him? Have you looked into what people were doing during that span of time? What kind of idiot do you take me for? It doesn't matter what the killer went in when the killer went into lobby number 2. From the time we heard the gunshot, to the time Mr. Bad and I arrived on the scene as we dashed from lobby number 1, the only person who could have committed the crime was Detective Gumshoe. Yes, let's talk about when you and Detective Bad heard that gunshot, shall we? I suppose that if we go by your logic, then Detective Gumshoe is the only one. However, what if the crime had occurred at an entirely different time than when the gunshot you heard went off? What then? That gunshot was a trap meant to manipulate our perception. Sadly, your explanation is very lacking, Edgeworth. The gunshot we heard in lobby number 1 came to explain how that could be fabricated.
Take that.
A tape. Ooh, oh, we got her. We got her. She's a little nervous now. Let me get caught up on chat here. Oh god, I can't wait for Danhausen to come back. He's on injury right now. What's that bar in the corner? So basically you have a health bar in the game, and every time you give a wrong answer when the health bar is on the screen, you lose some health. And if you lose all of your health, basically that's saying that you've done such a bad job presenting your case that you're going to lose. And you game over. So that's what that was. Chris Technician, welcome in. How are you doing today, Chris? And thank you for a 37-month resub. How are you doing today, Chris? How's everything going? The delicious void juice. That tape. Yes, it's exactly what you think it is. This is the surveillance tape of Mr. Rell the prosecution presented in today's trial. This was found loaded in the video player in lobby number 2. It was connected to the large television that had its volume turned all the way up. Can't honestly mean that the sound we heard was the gunshot in the video. Ah, but I do, which leads me to my next point. The murders occurred much earlier than when anyone heard the gunshot. That's the only thing I could think of, too. After committing double homicide, the killer took the surveillance video out from Mr. Haraday's evidence bag, turned the television's volume all the way up, and left the video to play. If played from the beginning, it would take 30 minutes for the gunshot sound to come on. And since we know that this method of time manipulation is possible, it opens up the possibility that the killer is someone other than Detective Gumshoe. Sounds from a television don't amount to much here. But of course, Mr. Prosecutor Edgeworth and Little Miss Von Karma already knew that much from the very beginning, right? Of course we knew, didn't we, Miles? Yes, of course. We know about the soundproof quality of this courtroom's rooms. How's work week? Pretty nice, very easy this week. I appreciate it. I've got to blow my nose again real quick. I'll be right back, folks. Don't go anywhere. Sorry about that. I'm back. Let's see. If it hits 0 HP, I think Gumshoe gets arrested and he loses. Well, that's unfortunate. What is the dinner port? Nice and simple. I had some blue box mac and cheese, the fancy kind, not the normal kind, and some air fryer fish sticks. I don't know why I couldn't think of that name. Yeah, some fancy blue box mac and cheese and some air fryer fish sticks, which were incredibly crunchy. Thank you for the recommendation, Rin. I appreciate that. I'm probably going to be making them like that from now on. Not just because they were nice and crunchy, but also because being able to heat those up without preheating. I hate preheating. Preheating is the bane of my existence. So that was super nice. Yeah, that was my favorite meal as a small child, was mac and cheese and fish sticks. So I'm like, let's try kicking it up a notch and see how it goes. It was so good. Oh, I know, you gotta get them nice and crunchy, and that was the crunchiest I've had them, so I'm sold. I'm a happy camper. Of course, I'm not about to admit we had no idea until only a little while ago. That's right, and if the rooms are soundproof, then we should not have been able to hear it. And yet, we heard the gunshot clear as day. And that's it. End of story. But it's not. How should I explain why she was able to hear a gunshot from a soundproof room? There is actually one common point between lobby number 2 and lobby number 1. And it is that despite the fact that both rooms have air conditioners installed, a window was open in each. Now, we know that the window in lobby number 2 was opened by the killer. However, a window in lobby number 1 was also opened. Probably just coincidence they were both open at the time. It was no mere coincidence, I assure you. Why was the window open in lobby number 1? The answer is that a certain person did something to cause the window to be opened. And the person who triggered that action, that person is the real guilty party. The real killer in this double murder is... Ms. Callisto Yu. I hereby formally indict you of the murder of Mr. Faraday and Mr. Rell. What? You indict me? Oops. You got a little bit there. Oh yeah, when it's, you're talking about pretty much any fried food, the crunchier it is, the more I like it. It's so good. Are you serious, Miles? Why do you think she is the killer? Don't understand her motive just yet. Of course I'm serious. Because she is the only one who could have done it. Well, Ms. Yu, you still feel like laughing now? Of course I do, Edgeworth. My argument must not be tight enough yet. Although, I never thought things would spiral into this. But I'll have you know I'm enjoying this dance quite a bit. I guess this means it's time for my own rebuttal now, right? You argue that the window was opened. However, do you have any proof it was I who did that? Furthermore, do you have any proof that the tape was used in committing the crime? Frankly, I'm shocked at you for going around accusing people of murder like this. Especially with logic as full of holes as yours. This is where it really starts. Mustn't let my guard down for even a second, or the truth will blow away. Now is the time to put the patented Von Karma perfect proof to the test. Do we know in the Phoenix Wright universe if they have grand juries? I'm trying to remember if we've ever heard about grand juries before. Off the top of my head, I can't remember if it's been mentioned. I feel like I want to say no, though. They have a very weird legal system in these games. Alright, so let's save here first, because we're going on the offensive. What's a grand jury? So in the United States, basically, you have a miniature trial just to figure out if someone can go to trial, and that's called a grand jury trial. So yeah, you bring the evidence to a trial, and they're not trying to determine if the person is guilty or not. You're trying to determine if there's enough evidence that it would be worth taking them to trial in the first place. I don't think they even have petite juries. Yeah, the 3-day trial. They mentioned that in the first 3 games, right? Yeah, I know in one of the future games they actually try out having jury trials, which is interesting. Medium large juries. Alright, so this I think is probably the most important thing, because yes, we do have proof that she opened the window. Evidence. All I need to do is have some prints analyzed and we'd know straight away. Be my guest. She sounds as though she has the room to maneuver, which means, even if we were able to lift prints, they'd only show it was someone else. But why that someone else was forced to open the window? That's simple logic. Why don't I try presenting that piece of evidence? I have nothing to lose. What's wrong? Scrunched eyebrow lines in her forehead, they're all back. More importantly, you're gonna be okay not running a fingerprint analysis? Yes, I'll be fine. Oh, well in that case, I'll just continue with my testimony, alright? Alright, so let's start here, because we do have proof that if she didn't open the window, someone else opened it on her behalf. Oh, Rin, thank you for the link there, I appreciate that. Yeah, this is really interesting. It's a good variety, because they wanted to make these games a bit of a different experience, and I feel like they succeeded. It's really neat. I'm sure you've seen this before, haven't you, Ms. Yu? Edgeworth, I never knew you were into wearing that kind of perfume. It's not exactly what I recommend for boys, you know? This isn't mine! That's right, it's mine, and I received it from Detective Bad, you see. Ms. Yu, you can pretend all you like, but we know at least this much for sure. That this bottle of perfume was given to Detective Bad by you. Because it gets really strong really fast. So, what about the perfume? While you were in lobby number 1, you made a big show of spilling some of this perfume. That's according to Detective Bad. Oh, I know. You also knew that if you spilled it, he would naturally move to open a window. Or crack a window, as they say here in the States. Come now, I've already told you that it's all just a big coincidence. After we opened the window in lobby number 1, I just left it open, you know? Or maybe it was just dumb luck that we heard the gunshot through the window. The timing of when you were going to spill the perfume is something you could control. And the most important fact about this case is when people were made to hear the shot. Furthermore, it would have been pointless if you didn't have an alibi for yourself at the time. I mean, Ms. Yu, you were the one who called Detective Bad into lobby number 1. When you saw him bring Detective Gumshoe into the hallway. Is that correct? All of today's premeditated events could only have been thought up by you, Ms. Yu. You accuse me of murder on the fact that I spilled a little perfume? Well, allow me to say this much. I couldn't have killed Mr. Faraday. Would you care to testify as to why? Look, I've had a lot of fun today, really. But I grow weary of this game of cat and mouse. Let's make this the last testimony and wrap up this absurd case once and for all. Let me get caught up on chat here. Does find law have an Ace Attorney subsection? Probably not. Let's see, Japan has an inquisitorial system. Interesting. Sometimes the best jokes are the ones we don't even intend to make. Oh, thank you for posting that on Discord, Hellion. I appreciate that. Alright. Accusing someone of murder over a spilled bottle of perfume is a bit over the top. But I suppose forgery of evidence is to be expected of a disciple of Von Karma. Ooh, going straight for the heart! In any case, it simply could not have been me who killed Mr. Faraday. After all, I don't even know where the knife that was used to kill him came from. Miles, her testimony is flawless. Yes, but no matter what sort of trick she may try to pull, she won't escape me. And if I'm lacking in information, I'll just draw it out of her. This is basically the axis the case turns on here. If we can prove she knew about the knife in the Yatagarasu key, so few people knew about that, that would basically put a huge target on her right there. So let's see what we got. Groshin, welcome in. How's everything going with you? Hope you're doing well. Unintentional, as it were. Alright. We're going to press on this last statement. She doesn't know where the knife came from.
Hold it.
At this rate, she'll inevitably escape. Sounds like I better save. We're getting down to danger zone. What if she really was the one who killed Mr. Faraday? She must have known about the existence of the knife. I'm sorry, Ms. Yu, maybe you weren't aware. However, the knife that was used to kill Mr. Faraday was taken from his evidence bag. Miles, what do you think you're doing? I'm drawing the truth out of her, that's what I'm doing. Shut up, Francesca, he's doing a thing! Huh? But I don't recall a knife being presented at the trial earlier today. Well, I suppose that's because the evidence was something Mr. Faraday had yet to use. Oh, so that's what you're trying to do. Look, why don't you cut it out with the lies? I've already figured you out. There was no knife inside of Mr. Faraday's evidence bag. The only evidence he had yet to present was the key the Yatagarasu sent. And unless a key can magically turn into a knife, you really don't have a leg to stand on. Do you really think you could trap me? Come now, be honest. I never intended to do such a thing. It was all a misunderstanding on my part. In any case, I wonder if you might append what you just said to your testimony. Sure, why not? I'll even say it as many times as you like. There was a key in his evidence bag, but you can't kill anyone with a simple key. Can't you? Actually, you could totally stab the fuck out of somebody with a key. Like, I'd start arguing there, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not 100% sure about the motive, but like, I think it might just have to do with her sister. This might be a very old grudge that she'd planned very well to set up. It's a little bit out there, but I don't think she has a good motive, let me put it that way. You can stab someone with most things if you just use enough force. Exactly! They've basically established that in the Phoenix Wright games, too. They've presented some crazy stuff as murder weapons before. So basically, this is, there was an incident at an embassy where her sister was a witness, and her sister was killed before she could testify. And both the lawyer who was killed was part of that case. So I think that was her motive, was she wanted to kill that lawyer as retaliation. The Keyblade! Have you guys ever seen the original sketch for Sora's weapon? Because the original drawing for Sora had him wielding a chainsaw. And then apparently Disney is like, maybe don't do that? So they changed it to a Keyblade, which canonically does not have a cutting edge. Yeah, seriously, Google this. Google this, you will find a drawing of Sora. I think Sora has cat ears, too, in the original drawing. Kingdom Hearts, some of your favorite series, I gotta Google that, please do. Yeah, it had like a lion tail and some cat ears and a chainsaw. Some keys do have a cutting edge, but like not the one he uses in the game, it doesn't look like anyway. Or if it does have a cutting edge, it doesn't really show it on the 3D model. And you can't kill anyone with a simple key, you say. Let us present a key that can kill, shall we? Ms. Yu, I wonder if you might take a look at this photo for me. This is a picture of the key the Yatagarasu sent to the police. However, while it may look like a key at first glance, it in fact has the secret ability to transform into a knife. One might go so far to say, Ms. Yu, that there is more than meets the eye. Which means that what was inside Mr. Faraday's bag was both the Yatagarasu's key and the murderous knife. You knew that the key was inside Mr. Faraday's bag, did you not? Yes. Well, with the Yatagarasu's key alone, it's more than possible to kill Mr. Faraday. Do you understand now? Just knowing of the existence... I still haven't had a good look at it. Showing it to me from that far away, you could be lying for all I know. You would, even now, still feign ignorance? Please don't give the murderer a knife! Please tell me Edgeworth isn't this dumb. Yeah, Life Warren, that's the one. It's pretty cool, right? I like it. I like it. No robots were involved that we know of. Unless they were so well disguised. So well disguised! Arthur Cross, I think the question we need to be asking here is, what motive did the VCR have? I'm not feigning anything. We can't have you accusing me of a crime with false evidence, now can we? I mean, Mr. Von Karma, I've heard some very interesting rumors about him. Are you mocking my papa? Don't you dare sully the good name of my mentor. I'll be doing that in game number 2. Now take a good look. This piece of evidence is more than real. Wow, who knew there was such trick to this thing? Are you satisfied now? But of course, you knew from the very beginning, didn't you? You knew that the knife and the Yatagarasu's key are one and the same. Otherwise, someone like you, who isn't a member of law enforcement and who would never have been privy to this trick, would have never known about it to begin with. Furthermore, the something that the Yatagarasu sent to the police. How did you have knowledge as to what it was? Actually, I heard it from Mr. Faraday. Just before he dragged Mr. Rell off, he told me. Oh, that's right, I almost forgot. He also told me about the key turning into a knife at that time. But he didn't tell me about how the key actually transforms. What you're saying is simply not possible. Oh, and why not? Because Mr. Faraday himself didn't know about the hidden knife within the key. But within these pages, he mentions nothing about a knife. I'm not sure he would have written everything in his organizer, you know? Wouldn't something of this importance be better left to oral communication? Unfortunately, that is also impossible. Because Detective Bad didn't know about the knife aspect either. What would have been highly classified information even within the police force, and is something that even the lead detective on the case didn't know. Why would Mr. Faraday have felt the need to share such information with the opposition? Yeah, I guess he wouldn't have much of a reason to. Looks like I gave a pretty lame excuse, huh? How can you laugh at a time like this? She probably just realized the flaw in her logic and is actually in a panic over it. But that's not something we need to concern ourselves with. Suppose you're right. Ms. Yu, I'd like to state that I also know how you know the real nature of this knife. Oh, do you now? Why don't you put your money where your mouth is and show me? Of course I know, I say as I save. Oh, I will, and I'll wipe that smile off your face by the time we're through. This is it, the moment of truth. The secret behind the Yatagarasu's key. Only one person would have knowledge of it from the get-go. Who would know from the start that the Yatagarasu's key could change into a knife? Oh, yeah.
Take that!
There's only one person who would have known about the dual nature of the key. And that is the person who sent the Yatagarasu's key to the police. That is to say, the Yatagarasu herself. Are you saying that this lawyer is the great thief Yatagarasu? Ms. Yu, you used Mr. Rell to lure Mr. Faraday into a trap, didn't you? You who profess to bear a grudge against criminals, why? Why do something like this? Not quite the response I was looking for. Who would have thought that you, stupid rookie prosecutor, would see through me? You're sending the biggest chill down my spine right now, Edgeworth. This feeling of thrill. It's even greater than when I sneak into someplace. You killed Faraday? Why? Answer me, Callisto, you. Callisto, you, huh? It's not my real name. Because my real identity is, yes, the great thief Yatagarasu. Let me tell you something, Edgeworth. Mr. Faraday was one difficult man to deal with. For you see, he had discovered my true identity, which is why I had to erase him from the world of law. I made Rel an offer, an acquittal, for a little favor in return. All he had to do was accuse Mr. Faraday of being the Yatagarasu in court. But once we entered the recess, Rel was dragged off by Mr. Faraday, which threw my plan into a complete mess. I chased after them and eavesdropped on them through a crack in the door. That Rel caves to only two things, money and authority, just as all thugs do. I feared my plan was going to be ruined if Mr. Faraday held on to Rel any longer. Plus, if I had let them continue on the way they were, I would have been found out. That's why I had no choice. I had to kill them both. But didn't you say that you despised criminals? But do I really? You... Have you forgotten about the KG-8 incident too? Maybe. What sort of woman would... So then, was it your plan to kill Mr. Faraday with the very evidence that you sent? Well, I had a good idea of what Mr. Faraday was going to do. I anticipated that Mr. Faraday was going to prove that Rel wasn't the Yatagarasu by using this Yatagarasu's key as evidence, and that he would bring it with him. Which is why I thought to use the knife portion. With a weapon as well disguised as this, no one would be the wiser. Because who in their right mind would think something like this could be used as a weapon? I casually entered lobby number 2 on the pretext that I had to talk with Mr. Faraday. In order to get in with him, I pretended to be worried about something. He then let me hold the Yatagarasu key just like that. He never noticed that I'd changed the key into a knife inside the plastic bag. And he didn't have the chance to take note of the knife that took his life. How could you kill him? I knew him for a long time, you know? At the very least, I thought to give him a quick and painless death. But if you killed Mr. Faraday first, there was no need for you to kill Mr. Rel as well. I believe I mentioned when we were placing Detective Gumshoe under arrest. Something about having accidentally created an eyewitness, and how that led the killer to think about setting them up as though they'd killed each other. Then the trick with the surveillance tape. Yes, I hadn't actually planned to use a gun. The risk was too high that I'd be caught. However, that's when I remembered the existence of that surveillance tape. Which is why I had Rel help me set up the crime scene. And after all was said and done, I rewarded him for all his hard work with a bullet. You're a defense attorney, aren't you? How could you betray a client? Client? If you want to talk about who was a client of whose first, it was me. I was the client in the murder of the Cadopian Embassy staff member, Dead Man. You ordered a hit job? You still haven't figured it out, Mr. Bad. I had Dead Man killed because he was about to give away info into the smuggling ring. Now, who exactly do you think would benefit from such an assassination? It can't be. You're? That's right. I'm a member of the smuggling ring. How could this... You don't mean you're working with Manny Cochin too, do you? Maybe not. Guess you'll never know. Yatagarasu claims to be noble, but you're just another cold-blooded murderer. Ah, that's right, little girl. Yatagarasu is just another killer. Be quiet, you. Yatagarasu. You can run from the law, but you'll never escape it. So just humbly accept the judgment of this court. Hey, Edgeworth. Did you know the Yatagarasu has 3 legs? You know why that is? No? Well, let me tell you. It means that the Yatagarasu has more than one razor-sharp way to do her work. Oh, God! You really are too naive, Edgeworth. You even handed the Yatagarasu's key right to me without a second thought. Everything may not have gone according to plan, but I'll still gladly take it. Oh, God! Oh, God! Let me save real quick and let me caught up. Oh, this is bad. Wait, that's legal. Zig, welcome in. You should be in the courtroom. You'd be a big help. Oh, jeez. You mean the key was your real target? And even after I gave you such great advice, didn't I tell you to always keep a good eye on a criminal? Or you may regret what comes of your negligence. You two, get down! Ah! Ah! My body! I can't move! Emperor! Thank you so much for the gift sub to Shira right there! Gift sub number 1,429 at tier 3 as well! Thank you so much for your generosity there, Emperor. That is awesome of you. And Shira, welcome in. How are you doing today? Hey, mister! To your right! You! Are you all right, Francesca? I'm perfectly fine, Miles. Her voice is shaking, but it looks like she's unharmed. Where did Kay go? It's a gunshot! September 10th, 7 p.m., District Court, Courtroom number 3. Sorry, but it looks like she got away. Called the precinct. They should have a perimeter set up soon. Detective Bad, are you alright? I heard a gunshot. I'm okay. Just got another hole in my jacket. I may say he's fine, but he looks quite shaken. Yeah, understandably. Understandably, I'll give him that one. Nobody expects the sheer bribe. Do we have a clip? I don't think we have a clip, unfortunately. She failed to refer to someone by their phone. Oh, yeah, she always does that. She must be really shaken up. It's a good detail right there. I sense a contradiction in that, Shira. I may have to press you on that. Maybe he's the real Yatagarasu? I mean, he's got an alibi for the murder, so we know he couldn't have been the one in there, I think. More importantly, boy, I mean, Mr. Edgeworth, Ms. Von Karma, are you two hurt? I'm absolutely fine. I'm also alright, thanks to Kay. Speaking of Kay, where is she? I don't know. She just sort of disappeared. I'll go look for her. Oh, and hey, Detective. Detective Gumshoe. Yes, sir! Detective Bad, sir! Sorry I doubted you. Don't worry, sir! It's not your fault! I lied to you guys, too, after all. Heard about what happened. From Kay. Lying while giving testimony is still unforgivable. Yes, it is! Put him in jail! But in this case, you were protecting Kay and her feelings. Is he gonna say that's okay? Please, no. Shira, you still hate Twitch for that? I'll give you one thing, Shira. So if you go to my actual main page on desktop on Twitch, something they added about a month ago is they added a top clips reel, and you can see some of the clips that I marked as my best clips. And you notice, like, even going 5 years back, like, your name's still popping up in chat. I thought that was really cool. I thought it was wild looking at some old clips, and I still recognize a lot of names in there. Some of you folks have been around for a long time, and I honestly can't thank you enough for it. It's really nice. But if anybody hasn't seen, check out the featured clips on my page. I think I've got some good ones in there if you haven't seen them before. And of course, Barney Boost, one of my oldest clips. And one of my favorites still to this day. And speaking of folks that have been here forever, Emperor, thank you so much for a 70-month resub at tier 3 as well. I see you there. We're here for a good time and a long time. The 2 combo right there. Emperor, thank you so much. There's only so much I can say about your generosity, but there's more of it than I have words for. Thank you so much for everything you do, Emperor. It means a lot. It's been a ride. I'm glad to hear it, Shira. Oh, thank you, 4M. That's really kind of you. That's fair, Shira. That's fair. Some wounds never heal. Almost 40. How crazy is that, Kissa? Holy shit. Holy shit. Don't forget exclamation mark follow age shows when you first hit the follow button, too. You know what the funny thing is there, Ed? Also, I don't think I said hi to you. How are you doing, Ed? I still to this day don't remember how I'm actually supposed to do that part of the game. Like, I honestly was stumped there. And the fact I got through it by jumping on Barney's head. 4 years, 3 months there for you, Kissa. Gamagumo, 4 years, 2 months. Zigcat, 5 years, 8 months. Nearly 5 years, 9. Wild. There's a little bit of a cooldown on it, so if you do it and it doesn't say, just wait a few seconds and do it again. 5 years ago, Nano. That's wild. I mean, there's supposed to be a cooldown on it. I don't know why it's not doing anything. There we go. X-Files Resistor Serve. Yes. God, that game was so fun. Arthur Cross, 3 years, 8 months there. John, your view time is nearly 5 months right there. Holy shit. John, I hope you've enjoyed those 5 months. Named over a year, almost a year and a half. Malkill, 3 years and almost 3 months. Gamagumo, watch time over 2 months. Holy shit. Only a year and a half. That's still a really long time. Emperor, 6 years, 5 months. Nearly 6.5 right there. And I've only been streaming for 7 years and some change. That is wild. Let's see, Warded Animal, you've got a month and a half of watch time. Commander Keen, 1 year, about a year and a half follow age. KC to over 4 months of view time. Ooh, Rin, let us know how that comes out. I would love to hear. Commander Keen, almost 2 days of your life watching the channel. How does that feel? Nano, over 3 months viewing time. KC now almost 5.5 years there. I've got that one on my front page, Shira. I love that one so much. I can't believe that was actually there. Malkill, almost a full month of view time there. How wild is that? Crunchy outside, soft chicken, liquid cheese. Oh, that sounds really good. Groshin, almost half a month just spent viewing the stream. How's that feel? Looks like you just might have what it takes to be a real detective. Emperor, 3.5 months of watch time there. Groshin, I'm just a baby. Everybody gotta start somewhere, but I mean, still. Half a month of watch time is a lot when you think about it. Rin, almost 5 months of watch time. Tell me how that feels. Now, don't you ever lose that detective spirit, okay? Yeah, you got it, Pops! Pops? Watched one too many detective dramas recently, have we? Way to single-handedly destroy the cheery atmosphere with one snarky comment. Some people have a superpower, what can I say? I do the same thing all the time, Nano. Miss RP Girl, 3.5 days. More than 3 entire days spent watching that. How does that feel? Also, hope you're having a good week, Miss RP Girl. Glad to have you with us. Geek Boy, almost a month of watch time. Lifewarren, over an entire day. 1 entire day of your life spent just watching the stream. Think about that, that's wild. Emperor, thank you so much for the gift sub to Stream Elements, the kinder of 2 bots there. I appreciate that. He probably appreciates it too, though he can't express it very well. DB Stewart, welcome in. 3 years, 8 months there, holy shit. Doc Belvin, over 21 days of watch time. I should get back to the investigation. I swear, I'll catch you if it's the last thing I do. See, Doc Belvin, you do always pass out pretty quick into the stream, but think about how long you've been doing that. You've been coming to the stream for quite some time, I believe. DB Stewart, almost 23 days of watch time. Nano, no! Nano, did you press the forbidden button? Oh, no. Oh, Nano, you were doing follow H for Stream Elements. I got scared for a second there. Yeah, Stream Elements isn't following. Stream Elements is only here because he has to be. This is a job for Stream Elements. Dragon Lady Myth, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. 1.5 months of watch time. That's wild. Warded a year and almost 11 months. Follow age right there. Holy shit. Coming up on 2 years before too long. LTG, 6 years, 5 months. Holy shit. Nightbot has only been here for 2 months. How is there people in here who've been watching more than Nightbot? Nightbot, where have you been? Nightbot, have you been dipping out during my streams? You son of a bitch! I'ma find that bot, I'ma slap the shit out of him. How dare he? How dare he? Well, that's upsetting to find out. Wow, dude. Brother, where? Kissa, over 1 month of view time. That's a lot to be watching anything. Nightbot's been clocking out early. Somehow I shouldn't be surprised. Nightbot's drinking on the job. This is one place where robots will not take over human jobs. They tried to, and then they got bored of it. Yeah, Nightbot only shows up when there's somebody to bust that doesn't need to be busted. Thanks. Well, I'm off. Maybe we'll run into each other again someday. Maybe in case 5, even. Thanks a bunch, pal. You're the best. You really did find out the truth behind everything. Yes, well, I'm glad we solved everything before you're taken to prison. Can't believe how much trouble I caused you with my testimony, Detective Gumshoe. It was no problem, really. I mean, I lied too, so I didn't help anything. It's really not your fault, Your Honor. Well, even if we didn't have His Honor's testimony, I think that lawyer would have found another way to get you convicted on her behalf. Yeah, I can't believe I was about to get fired during my first week as a detective. Well, so long as you're not fired, you should work hard, give all that you have, and perform your duties well. Oh, and one more thing. Kay left a present for you with me. She did? Oh, what is it? What was it that Kay left for me? The proof of their friendship. Oh, I remember.
Take that!
It's a courthouse special Swiss roll! Can I really have it? Yes, it's a present meant for you after all. Thanks a bunch! You have no idea how happy this makes me, pal. I'm gonna eat this right now. Sure, go ahead. Swiss rolls Detective Gumshoe and Kay bought together, while the one Kay saved never reached her father. It would appear that her sentiments have touched the heart of this detective. He's so happy, it's as though he's having a welcome back celebration of his own. Well, I was asked by Kay to give it to him. That was good, pal. I can't even believe I got to eat 2 of those delicious things in one day. It's like I'm in Swiss roll paradise or something. I gotta thank Kay myself. Hey, wait, where is she? You only noticed just now? Mrs. Blind not present when we discussed her earlier. Yeah, only Gumshoe would be so overjoyed at a cake roll from a courtroom vending machine. Literally the happiest he's been in this entire case. That's why he actually became a cop, I believe, LTG. He's investigating the case of who stole his sweet roll. Yeah, you betcha, pal. I'm gonna go help him. Oh, but first. You know what, pal? Actually, I guess I shouldn't be so rude to you anymore, huh? I'm gonna stick right by your side from now on, Mr. Edgeworth, sir. I sense nothing but a most troublesome relationship from that Alma's statement. And here's where it begins, ladies and gentlemen. If anyone's curious why Gumshoe has so much loyalty to Edgeworth, now I know. Because Edgeworth spent an entire day trying to get him off of a murder rap. Happy's just been in the entire game, basically. Hey, I didn't take a bullet to the knee, at least. There was somebody shooting at, Detective Bad. They missed, though, thankfully. We should go home too, Miles. We have to hurry and report what has happened to Papa. Agreed. Well, I'm afraid we must be going now, Detective. Roger, sir! And don't you worry, I'll investigate the next case we're on real well! I'll, be counting on you. The scent of trouble is definitely in the air. Edgeworth is feeling this doom cloud gathering above his head right now. Thank fuck work from home is a widespread thing now. Thank fuck for that, Emperor. Shane, but also Miles Edgeworth. He's feeling it now, Gavin Guillermo. He is feeling it now. I thought his coat looked like a mist coat. I understood that reference. Thus, like a bad dream, my first outing at court came to a disturbing end. A few months later, I was finally able to properly stand in court as a prosecutor. But the detective in charge of the investigation was, as I dreaded, Detective Gumshoe. After that, he became my direct subordinate. I have tried, but words fail to describe the immense suffering he has caused me. But I suppose that's just how things are. As for the little girl who suddenly disappeared, she's now... So, do you remember now? Yes, I remember everything. I like to imagine that Edgeworth was just staring at that handkerchief for the last, like, 45 minutes. She just whips it out, she's like, does this ring any bells? Just stands there like that for 45 minutes, being like, Scarleters, I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Welcome in. How are you doing today? And LTG, nice all in. If you failed to solve the case in Edgeworth memory, what would happen to Edgeworth? I imagine it would be like Metal Gear Solid 3. You had a game over time paradox. That's my assumption anyway. Warded, nice all in as well. Kay, it's been a while. Kay, you sure grew up a lot. Of course, but thank goodness. I thought you two had totally forgotten about me. You know, I was really worried about you after all that. Where have you been all this time? Gummy, I didn't know you cared. After my father died, I went to go live with my mother's relatives. They lived really far away, so I wasn't able to come back here all that much. Oh, is that what happened? Well, I'm just glad you're all right. Hey, do you remember this handkerchief? Edgeworth disappears into the space-time continuum, just starts looking at the sun, his eyes get bigger. He's like, do I remember that handkerchief? I can never forget the person who gave me a Swiss roll. That was the best day of my entire life. Crushing. It's such a beautiful image. So, does it all make sense now? You betcha it does. Oh, you know what? I was going through my father's bookshelves recently and...
Hold it!
Actually, there are still a number of things that don't make sense, Kay. Huh? First of all, why did you come all this way to see me? And second, why are you calling yourself the Yatagarasu? The Yatagarasu is Callisto Yu, the woman who killed your father. No, you're wrong. The real Yatagarasu was my father. Mr. Faraday was the Yatagarasu? Like I said, I was going through my father's bookshelf recently, and I found a secret diary hidden among his books. I have no regrets in choosing to walk the path of the Yatagarasu. That was written in his diary, and that's how I know for sure. But that's impossible. What's with that look? You don't believe me? It wasn't just the expression on my face. I clearly said it was impossible just now. Alright then, how do you explain this? A way of disarming any security system of the user's choosing. Yep, that's Little Thief. Truth be told, this is the Yatagarasu's greatest secret. And this little gizmo was used by my father. Wow! Mr. Faraday wasn't just a great prosecutor, he was a really great thief. Huh? Yeah, my father worked really hard to steal the truth. But he was killed, and the Yatagarasu is no more. But despite that, the Yatagarasu has been spotted again recently. Someone other than you? Here, Mr. Edgeworth. Take a look at this article. Yatagarasu sent the embassy a calling card. Yeah, meaning this person's a fake. I'm almost certain that Callista Yu lady is behind this. Because the real Yatagarasu would never send something like a gaudy calling card. But the Yatagarasu did send a white card along with anything to be publicized. That's what Detective Bad told me 7 years ago, if memory serves. Well, as soon as I heard the news, I got all wound up and I knew I couldn't just let it go. So I searched you out, so that I could obtain the truth behind the Yatagarasu. Because if anyone can help me find it, I figured it's you, Mr. Edgeworth. So you're saying that I have your father's and Ms. Yu's identities backwards? Yes, because the real Yatagarasu is noble to the end, and I want to revive the real noble Yatagarasu. If I don't, my father will never be able to rest in peace. Kay. Kay? You're so honorable. I don't care what anyone else thinks. I'll always be here to cheer you on, pal. Even if you are honorable, a thief is a thief. If you're plotting to commit a crime, then I'm afraid I can't be complicit. Mr. Edgeworth! You guys are not making it easy for me. Who am I supposed to support now? Mr. Edgeworth, what I want from you is not to steal something. What I want is the arrest of that evil woman. That evil woman? You mean Callisto Yu? I think it's too hard for me to catch her all by myself. But I thought that since you were able to expose her for who she is, then maybe... Please, Mr. Edgeworth, won't you help me? Come to think of it, I do believe I owe you. Huh? Owe me for what? When Ms. Yu made her escape, it was you who saved my life. Furthermore, you helped me with the investigation today. I'm not so rude as to leave favors unrepaid. Then you mean? Yes. That case has been weighing down my soul ever since that fateful day. Perhaps the time has come to settle things once and for all. If you don't intend to sully your hands in a crime, then I believe I can help you. Mr. Edgeworth, thank you! Yay, Mr. Edgeworth, sir! Isn't that great, Kay? Yeah, it sure is, Gummy. Even though he had completely forgotten about her until just now. What is with their chummy relationship? Great Yatagarasu. For all that time, the true identity of the thief sank back into the darkness. Byrne Faraday, Callisto Yu, and Kay Faraday. Phantasmagorically challenging identity of the great thief Yatagarasu. And Yatagarasu's real goal. It would all come to light the day after I made that promise to Kay. The end! And there we go. The end of case 4 out of 5. Meaning all that's left is the grand finale of the game. Phantasmagoria? I still kind of want to play that one of these days. Thank you for the GG. I appreciate that. Let me get caught up on chat here. Rid is correct. Isn't that weird? I think every glasses wearer knows that if you forget to clean your glasses for too long, and then you put them back on, you're like, whoa, everything is hyper real. Commander Keen. So many loose ends and no attorney to pin them on. Oh, we still got another case to get some false accusations in there. Yeah, it seems like you forgot about the whole thing. I don't feel like there was any weight there. There's been weight for like the last 5 minutes. Phantasmagoria is wild. What a crazy game. Also, that was the game that was intended to launch a revolution that would start a trend with everybody doing FMV games. Which, like, maybe a tiny little bit for a little while, but didn't quite work out that way. But also, because they actually bought all of the film sets and the filming equipment for Phantasmagoria, that's the reason that Gabriel Knight 2 was able to exist. They were able to make it cheaper than Phantasmagoria because they reused a lot of the material, the technology that was used for that game, which I think is really interesting. Yeah, we are sort of entering a golden age of FMV games. I don't see as many people making like adventure game style FMV games though. Most people seem to be making choose your own adventure style, which is definitely easier to make, but I prefer adventure game style. The world is so clear. Oh, so it's a little bit early, folks. I actually wanted to go longer today, but unfortunately I got some stuff I got to do today. Number one, I had a bubble in one of my tires, which is not something I ever heard about before, but apparently it's real bad. So yeah, I took it over to the shop. They had to order me a new tire, so I got to take it over to the shop and get my tire replaced. But it's okay. It had a good long lifespan. I had that tire for all of, gosh, how long could it be? 4 months? I have the worst luck. Oh God, Malkill, I'm so sorry you had to play that game. Yeah, Gabriel Knight 3 was such a letdown. What a weird game. How do you have a game that starts off with vampires kidnapping a noble baby, and then that doesn't get mentioned for the next 10 to 12 hours? That's so weird. Let's see, that butterfly knife again, that gunshot again, those time shenanigans again, that premature fish again. You don't have to put it like that, Garushin. But yes, so yeah, I've got to get that tire taken care of. Also, the landlady is sending over someone to repaint the railing on my balcony, so I got to be around for that as well. And I definitely don't want to be streaming when that person shows up. That Harvester 2 time again? I only wish. So, hey, thank you everybody for being here today. I appreciate the heck out of that. I had a ton of fun today. Today was freaking awesome. And I'm very much looking forward to how they wrap up all the narrative threads they've been setting up. Because if you notice, every single case in this game has had some loose ends. And I believe they're all intended to be tied together in case 5, the big Uber case, involving the Yatagarasu, the shipping company, the embassy murders. I'm very excited about this. The theft in Edgeworth's office, the KG8 incident, as it were. I'm so excited for this. I hope you are too. We're going to be playing same time today, tomorrow. We're going to be picking up right where we left off, so I hope I'll see you there. But of course, we got one last thing to do. If you got a minute to spare, I'd really appreciate it, because we got to see who else is online. So if you're not done watching Twitch, maybe I can send you somewhere cool. I'd like the opportunity to try. So make sure to hit follow first and foremost. That'll be the easiest way to find me tomorrow, or anytime you'd like to come back. We'd love to have you. And while I'm looking to see who is live at this hour, there are some links in chat you might want to check out if you haven't seen them yet, including a link to my YouTube if you want to check out any of the games I've played in the past, or if you want to get caught up on our current game, feel free to take a look into that. And we have a link to my Discord if you would like to chat with me or the rest of the community. Feel free to jump in there. Everybody is welcome in on that. And where are we going today? I see a couple of interesting possibilities today. Somebody's actually playing Gabriel at 3. Speak of the devil and he will appear, as they say. I actually see somebody we do not get to raid very often. That might be someone new for some of you folks. You know I love introducing everybody to new folks. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would love if you would join me as we go ahead over on a raid over to a stream by the name of Game Mistress. She is a very cool retro streamer. She plays a lot of really cool stuff, has a really cool retro collection as well. Today she is playing Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn. I've never actually seen the Saturn version of Sonic Jam, but I've heard it has some interesting differences. She might know about them. Maybe she'd tell us about them. We'll see. Either way, why don't you join me over there? Say hi to Game Mistress, hang out for a little bit, throw her a follow if you like what she's doing. But hey, if you've got other things to do, I'll just say as I always do, have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're at in the world. I will see you folks tomorrow for more Ace Attorney Investigations Miles Edgeworth. Take care until then, everybody.